One, go.
Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on the all-important consecration ceremony of Ram Mandir, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, leading the nation, has finally done what millions of people were anticipating and waiting. Joining me on the broadcast is my colleague Arushi Ranjan, who would be taking us through the latest, which is coming from Ayodhya. But before everything, it's our pleasure to be joined by Balavirao Sankuratri, convener, Global Encyclopedia of the Ramayana, Sri Lanka chapter, Ayodhya Research Institute, Department of Culture, Government of Uttar Pradesh, and a noted author also. Sankuratri ji, thank you so much for speaking to us on
Jai Shri Ram.
this occasion. Jai Shri Ram. First things first, sir, your impression and your thoughts on this grand event, which was not an spectacle in itself, but also something that history which is associated with it. How do you see it, sir?
It is massive. See, it is a struggle of, to be more precise, it is 496 years of struggle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
We may round it to 5 centuries of
Yes.
struggle. We all know that Valmiki Ramayana is very popular, well noted, but equally to Valmiki Ramayana, the other Ramayana, if you have to pick immediately, that will be Ramcharitmanas, which has come from Avadhi land, from Ayodhya itself.
Right.
But let me tell you something very interesting. See, Babri Masjid was built on the name of Emperor Babur in the year 1528, 1529 around.
Mhm.
And a year before, or 2 years before, that is 1526, 1527, was the old Ram Mandir demolished,
Right.
brought down.
Mhm.
So at that time, Goswami Tulsidas ji would be around the age of 15, 16 in his teenage.
Mhm.
Seeing the Ram's temple, his devotees' temple, deity's temple going down, and some other structure coming up, it
Right.
is from that pain he wrote the Ramcharitmanas.
True. True. Mhm.
It's from that pain. Everybody says Goswami Tulsidas ji is a great poet, very all this stuff. I say he's a great freedom fighter for the culture.
Right. Right. Bearing that pain.
He
Yes.
who- It is he who sustained Ramayana in that region.
Mhm.
So when Sanskrit was systematically removed from the society,
Right.
until then, Ramayana was only in Telugu they say a proverb that Andha Nidraksha means the only people who understand Sanskrit or who can recite Sanskrit, only Ramayana was only among them. So
Mhm.
they have to tell it to the people, the laymen, only then they can understand. When Sanskrit is systematically reduced its importance by the then governments,
Okay.
what happened? The importance of Ramayana is slowly reduced. The availability of Ramayana is drastically reduced.
Mhm.
And this is this guy, Goswami Tulsidas ji, who revolutionized it. He made it into the local dialect, added the local scenarios, and just pushed it into the masses that no one can even touch it.
Absolutely. You're right, and we are happy to have learnt it from you, sir. That what transpired at that time, it could have been, had it not for Goswami Tulsidas, that the history would have been buried there. But thanks to him and the continuity that has come throughout, reaching the fruition with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Today, I'm sure, sir, you would have been all eyes when Prime Minister Modi was there at the temple, and he began his speech by saying, Ram aa gaye hain. Now, this in itself is such a, I would say, meaningful, powerful statement. How do you interpret it? The very first line of him.
See, Ram, it is like this. Now we all know that the multiple countries do follow Ramayana. So
Mhm.
there is Ramayana not only in India but across in Nepal, in Sri Lanka, in Thailand, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar. These have Ramayana very much inherent in their culture
Mhm.
from centuries and millions back.
Right.
Then there are other countries like Trinidad and Tobago, Fiji, which have adopted Ramayana perhaps during the time of British or colonial rule,
Mhm.
where a lot of Indian masses have been shifted to those islands as laborers, and they've settled there, and they carried Ramcharitmanas along with them. So
Mm.
it is there. Now, what I can see, Ram Age, and what I forecast down the line is there
Mm.
will be a union of Ramayana nations very soon. That is,
Oh.
that is what I'm forecasting it. Right?
Mhm.
That is what I'm forecasting it, because now we can see whenever there is, right now as we speak right now in Ayodhya, there are Ram Leela performers coming
Mm.
from different parts of the world
Right.
representing those countries. To my knowledge, Laos is there already in Ayodhya, Thailand is there, Singapore is there, Sri Lanka is there, Cambodia is there,
Mm.
Indonesia is there, Mauritius is there.
True. True. True.
Yes, sir, as you were saying that the whole, like worldwide people are celebrating this Ayodhya Utsav, like the world is celebrating Ayodhya. So recent visuals which we have gotten, in that too, we have seen people from US, UK taking rallies with the flag of Ram written on it. They are celebrating this Ayodhya Utsav. How do you feel about that? The global audience, the global people celebrating this, something happening in India.
It is amazing. Just this morning, I was just going in the streets of Hyderabad,
Mm.
and the whole street on both the sides, all the saffron flags have been well everywhere. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram,
Yes.
and there was a lot of flags. Every vehicle is having flag.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is a new festival what India or Bharat has made it today.
Yes, it is indeed looking like a festival.
It is a festival.
Yes.
It is a festival,
Yeah. There
and
is.
tonight everybody will be lighting the lamps. Even in front of my house, I kept a huge Jai Shri Ram flag.
Right. So since we have touched upon the acceptance and the celebration, the euphoria around Ram Temple outside of India, if I may quickly direct our attention towards states like Uttar Pradesh, states like Telangana or Karnataka, for that matter, Tamil Nadu also. They are not primarily ruled by BJP, but the connect with Ram is apolitical. It's beyond politics, and that's what the messaging is from the ramparts of the new Ram Temple. I think Prime Minister Modi made it very clear that it's for all of us. It's not just related to one.
Definitely, yes. It is for all. See, in Treta Yuga, during the time of Ram, Ram is the head of the governance, and he is also considered as God.
Mhm.
So that itself proves the line. There is no political connection to that.
Right, right.
It is see, so I keep listening to all these people. Modi ji is coming. It is politicized. No, he is the representative of all the citizens of this people, all the citizens of the nation. He is
Right.
the public representative.
Mm.
All Indians cannot go on the day one. If there is one person who has to represent all Indians, it is definitely the Prime Minister Modi.
Sir, you were saying initially you were connecting a Telugu line with Sanskrit, and now in Tamil Nadu only these political things are happening. Like some LED thing was
Yes.
turned off, and then again it is getting, and everyone is not celebrating there like we are doing here. So, what do you feel about
There
that? Do
there
you?
is one very sad thing about the state of Tamil Nadu, not with the state of Tamil Nadu, with the governing authorities there. The issue is, you remember the Stalin's statement recently.
Right.
He compares Sanatan Dharma with viruses and dengue, etc. Not only he, even his father did the same few years back. His father gave very derogatory comments on Hindu marriage system. So, and I saw a tweet this morning from Annamalai stating there was a school somewhere in Tamil Nadu, so who are celebrating this event, Ayodhya temple Pran Pratishtha event in the school, within the school premises, with the school students and their parents. And for
Wow.
that, the local police have come stating that you need to take a permission and you are not allowed to take the permission. Permission will not be granted.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, for a school to have a parents' meet or an event inside within the school premises, there is no such permissions required. But I
Absolutely.
don't know. Now it is like this. And this morning I saw the tweet of Nirmala Sitharaman ji also,
Ban.
where they asked for a unofficial ban without putting it on the paper. They're trying to obligate all this. This is what. See, Pran Pratishtha in Ayodhya is not a political event.
Mm-hmm.
And today, in the speech of Honorable Prime Minister or Honorable Chief Minister, there we see there is no political statement as such made.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
who is making it as a political is those people who are trying to gain advantage of it.
Maybe
Who
they
are,
are
who are talking against Sanatan Dharma are the one who are making it political. Who are those who have put the affidavits in the Supreme Court that Ramana never happened or it's a fiction. Those are the people who are making political statements.
right.
This school example which he
Hmm.
was giving, so they need permission to celebrate Ram now. It's strange.
See, I mean, again, that's why the voices like Bala sir here, they're very important, sir. And I'm not just saying because you are in front of us. I'm saying this because to clarify the air, just to clear the air, that what is the real intent here? Because now a party that has been known for its Hindutva ideologies, Ram Mandir has always been on their political manifesto. I think BJP never, had hidden it. It was not an agenda. That's
Yes.
something they have chosen 5 years back.
Mm.
Okay, with development they have gone. The problem here is when it comes to Congress and other regional parties, they actually don't know when to, bring this matter up or how they are going to stand with it or not. If Congress they don't want to support Ram Mandir, they should have made the stand very clear.
Yes.
But here, going back and forth is something which is, getting them rather some bad press. Yes.
Especially at the time of the inauguration, they are backing out and saying, I won't come to, they are not accepting the invitation.
Right.
It's also making a bad impact on the people of India that
Right.
they are not coming to something which is related to Bhagwan Sri Ram.
Again, political differences.
Yeah.
Sankuratri ji, when I read out your introduction, convener, Global Encyclopedia of Ramayana, Sri Lanka chapter, Ayodhya Research Institute, you have shared with us, the kind of role and the times that you have seen changing from 2019 and even before that, when Supreme Court verdict came in. How has been your journey towards knowing and doing research on this whole episode of Ram?
See, since the time of the verdict, in the first week of the verdict itself, I was there in Ayodhya.
Right.
Okay. I was there in Ayodhya and I was accompanying one delegation from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Okay, and this gentleman from Sri Lanka and me traveling together to Ayodhya, and he started telling me in the flight, Mr. Bala, I told my colleagues down there in the Sri Lanka tourism that I'm going to Ayodhya, and everybody are suggesting me, be careful, you are going to Ayodhya, be careful, you are going to Ayodhya. So it was just the first week of the verdict when it came. But when he actually came to Ayodhya, he saw a completely different picture. And from then on, year on year, we are bringing Sri Lankans every year. So sometimes the private Ram Leela teams, etc., etc. And this year, 2023, November, for Deeposter, there is a team which has come from Sri Lanka, which is the official government's cultural team. It is Sri Lanka's National Heritage Dance and Drama Troupe under the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs.
Okay.
And the Honorable Minister Vidura Vikramanayaka from the government of Sri Lanka has given a special message loud and clear to India that Sri Lanka very much supports for this whole event, etc. And he sends his government official team.
Right, right, right.
That is one. And we are seeing it every year, and every year there's a lot of change happening in terms of the cultural connection is concerned.
Mhm.
And there were also talks happening in within Sri Lanka that how to introduce Ramayana festival there in Lanka as well.
Oh, okay.
uh, Ramayana festival there in Lanka, because they too also have a lot of Ramayana places.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everything is related to Ramayana there. So they also want to make Ramayana festival. There are talks happening. We'll very soon see all those.
Wow. I mean, we definitely wait for it with bated breath. And also, before we, wish you best for the evening, sir, Prime Minister Modi, we have seen almost two legs of Tamil Samagam also, which Kashi
Kashi
to,
Tamil. Yes.
yes, Tamil Nadu. That also, I would say, that permeates and percolates to Sri Lanka also, in a way, because of the Tamil population that we have there in Sri Lanka, finds a straight connect to what being imparted and taken from Tamil Nadu to Kashi.
Yeah. See, it is one thing. There, there is a Tamil population, a good amount of Tamil population, around 24%, if I'm not wrong,
Mhm.
and around 75 to 76% are Buddhist population. Now, coming to though Tamil Kashi Sangam is always there, but
Uh,
coming to Ramayana is concerned,
oh,
uh,
yes.
anyone, be it a Muslim, be it a Hindu, be it a Buddhist, be it a Christian, if he is Sri Lankan, he definitely believes that
Mhm.
he or she is the descendant of King Ravana. So there is no doubt for them that
Uh,
whether Ramayana is a mythology or a history or non-fiction, they don't. Sri
Totally.
Lankans never had a doubt. They very strongly believe they are the descendants of Ravana. That proves that they believe it to be history.
Mhm.
That is
Wow.
what. And Ramayana. I will just tell you one thing.
Mhm.
Ramayana is the characters in Ramayana are discussed in Shaivam, are discussed in Vaishnavam, are discussed in Hinduism, are
Mhm.
discussed in Jainism, are discussed in Sikhism, are discussed in Buddhism.
Right.
So, when all these religions are having the discussions on these Ramayana characters, how
Mhm.
can we frame Ramayana belongs to one religion? It is universal.
It is, it is, it is. And you're right. I mean, see, in our limited knowledge, sir, you are a vast proponent in this regard. But when we were preparing for this show, working on 40 odd Ram temples across India, not just in Ayodhya, which all is now celebrating and reuniting with Ayodhya as the consecration happened, we learned a lot from it, not just about the exile of Ram and Sita and brothers, and then the fight with Ravana, but also what happened after that, and that tells you that it's a way of life. It's not just it ended with beating Ravan and getting Sita back. I mean, the Uttar Ramayana that we talk about is something that is that tells you that it happens with us also as we progress.
Exactly. Not
So,
only, I'll tell you, because you're talking about the Ramayana temples in the south region,
mhm,
I'll tell you about two temples in the state of Andhra Pradesh.
mhm.
Okay, one is in the Tirupati temple itself, not in the Tirupati temple, in the Tirupati town.
Ha, ha, ha.
And other one is in the Kadapa district. It is Vantimitta Ramalaya.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Kodandarama Swami also.
Kodandaram Swami temple. Both are Kodandaram Swami temples itself.
Right,
See,
right,
these two temples have are the main murti inside these temples. The temples are built, rebuilt, renovated
yes,
multiple
yes.
number of times, etc. So basically, the temple's history, I mean, the outside structures history may be changing from one dynasty to the other dynasty, but the
Mhm.
murti of both the temples, which are
Mhm.
around 120, 150 kilometers distance, the murti
Right.
inside are considered to be installed by Jambawan.
Jamwant. Yes, yes.
Jambawan.
Right. Yes. In Montemita.
Yeah, see, today we go there, we see our leaders' statues all over the cities. Maybe any leaders of the past.
Mhm.
We see the leaders' statues all over the city, on the
Yes.
roadside, etc. So, like that, in those days, after during the Ram's uh, rule, uh,
Yes.
his followers like Jambuwan, Vanaras, etc., might
Mhm.
have installed these murtis in those days. And as the days goes by, these around the murtis, the temples have come.
Yes, absolutely,
It is
absolutely. No,
not the murti installed in the temple. Murti is already there as
yes,
a public. See, this is our Chakravarti. He is Ram. He is our Chakravarti. He is installed in those villages, etc. And
mm,
down the line, around these murtis, temples have come up.
all right. Absolutely, sir. This is something which is, I would say, interesting to note, and also tells us that how rich our culture is. And my colleague here, while we were preparing and listening to Prime Minister Modi's speech, Arushi and I were just wondering of the fact that there are so many things that we even don't know about, very honestly, and that's why it is important, Arushi,
Yes, it
to
is
delve deep.
indeed. Means this Ram temple inauguration plays a very impactful role for the youth, because the youth knew that there is Ramayana, there is Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. They went on exile, but they don't know the little details about it, which we are getting to know now. Right now, while talking to you, I got to know so many things about all those Sri Lanka and Tamil part and the temples. So it is very important for to build a good cultural society in India. This Ram Mandir inauguration and consecration ceremony
Mhm.
plays a very important role to know our culture, our dharma in a better way. And
Alright.
I see youth chanting Jai Shri Ram and all those flags, and they are also celebrating it like they do in parties. It's another thing. Like it's a new face of youth which we are seeing on internet also. I open Instagram and I see all my friends are celebrating this consecration. They are promoting it. So of course, yes,
You are witnessing the beginning of Ramarajya, the
yes,
re-beginning of the Ramarajya.
delightful.
Indeed. Bala sir, thank you so much. I mean, I with a promise that we will speak again sooner and not this time around for 5 years. We spoke, I got introduced to Bala sir in 2019, 5th of August, when
Yes.
the foundation stone was being laid and the Supreme Court verdict had come right at that time. But now, with a promise that we shall be connecting and learning from you and sharing the information with our viewers more. Thank you so much. Have a very blessed evening, sir. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Thanks
much.
a lot. Thanks a lot. Jai Shri Ram. Thank you.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai
Thank
Shri
you,
Ram.
sir. So there you had it, Bala V. Rao Sankuratri, convener, Global Encyclopedia of Ramayana, Sri Lanka chapter, Ayodhya Research Institute, Department of Culture, Government of Uttar Pradesh, and a noted author also. Always, it's Arushi, if you ask me, as they say that knowledge is something that that keeps growing on, as far as as more you get deeper into the intricacies of the thing. Here also, an eye opener of sorts here. Barring the political affiliations, look at Ayodhya. I was there a month ago, and the city, everything was as if in a churn. They were turning the whole city, decking it up, making momentous changes. I would say not cosmetic changes here and there. They are making the city. They have made the city something which will last for years, and the tradition and the thoughts.
Yes, it should not be politicized, like Sir was saying that even in the speeches, PM Modi and CM Adityanath, they are not politicizing it. So even we should, like you are saying, regardless of the politics, we should be focusing on the architectural marvel which they have built, the cultural part, the traditional part. So of course, yes, you're right.
Absolutely. As Prime Minister Modi has led the nation to the consecration, and his speech was something that was touching upon a lot of things, starting with Hamare Ram aa gaye hain, to the fact that halfway down the line, Arushi, he says that there has been some mistakes also been done, and he apologized to Lord Rama for that. Obviously, not naming any political parties or figures, but then he said कि देर हो गई, ये पहले ही हो जाना चाहिए था. With that regard, also made it clear and emphasized a lot on the fact that Ram Mandir सबके लिए है, किसी एक धर्म जाति या संप्रदाय के लिए नहीं है. And if you look at the gathering there, I mean, tell us who all personalities were there. Very soon we'll be joined by our correspondent also, Kuldeep from Ayodhya. Yes.
I am amazed by the Bollywood people who have joined the ceremony, like Alia Bhatt, Ranveer Kapoor, Kangana Ranaut, of course.
Yes.
Then Hema Malini. There are so many Bollywood personalities have gathered there, taking selfie together. So I'll tell you a thing. Earlier, the same Bollywood personalities were not openly talking about their religious part. They were keeping them away and they were saying, I am an actor, ask me about acting. But now seeing them visiting this temple and praying there and enjoying it, it's a change which has happened. So of course, and except Bollywood personalities, there is Ambani family, they have gathered there, all of them. And then there are cricketers who have gathered there. So the crowd, also the general public, we can't forget, they play the most important role because they are chantings, their motivation.
Right.
It's something which is very important for the country.
Well, definitely. And the list is also very long, the who's who that attended the consecration ceremony. I'm sure it's a lifetime experience for them. Amitabh Bachchan leading the, the film fraternity, Rajnikant from Tamil cinema, a doyen and a superstar, I would say. For him, almost, I would say he was representing both Amitabh Bachchan and Rajnikant, representing their film fraternity at the consecration ceremony. Several noted cricketers also, sports persons also were invited, and the list is long. Industrialists, everyone. I mean, from people from all walks of life. A lot of dignitaries have also been invited from offshore, foreign countries, which includes, the likes of a Norwegian MP called Himanshu Gulati, who is one of the youngest MPs in the current Norway government. Norway, obviously, is the country which gives away the Nobel Peace Prize from Oslo. And his family, he was there with us on India last evening, and he shared that how his parents, who are doctors by profession, shifted to Norway 40 years back. He was born there, and yet how his parents kept at it, referring to Ramcharitmanas and Ramayana episodes to imbibe the same traditions, Indian culture and tradition. I wouldn't say Hindu, because as of now, when we talk about India, when all-encompassing, all faiths find their true value in the Indian culture. And he spoke very fine Hindi and was, up to the speed with the latest developments as far as the Mandir construction is concerned, or the history. So that's there. Then there is another gentleman called Dr. Raj Gopal Kolapan, all the way from Pretoria in South Africa. And what you would be surprised what he is. And he and his family, after shifting to South Africa years and years ago with his forefathers also there, now they have erected 3 temples, Ayappa temples in South Africa, at 3 different locations. And he was there with Oneindia once again on one of the shows out of Africa. And he said that he got architects from India. They stayed in South Africa for 2 years. They made that temple.
No, that's the dedication.
And I mean, that's what he is also invited. He is here in Ayodhya as of now, as we speak.
So as you were saying that the Norwegian MP, his father, he never stopped him from learning the Hindu part or the Indian culture. He always kept it in him. So that's what we need. And I think this Ram Mandir inauguration is also a beginning of that. For example, the youth which we are seeing, or the people of what age, 13 to 17 or 18, they are always going to remember this inauguration and going to say this to the future generation that I saw this, and that's how it's going to transfer, and the culture is going to be in the hearts of the upcoming generation and the people who are witnessing it, of course.
Well, indeed. Very soon we'll be joined by Ashok Sajanhar, former diplomat, and to know how the image of India has been changing over a period of time, not just on the front of science and tech and space missions, but also culturally this connect, how important it is. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar has made several trips across the globe, and one message that he has been carrying since India hosted G20 was the fact that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, world is one family, one goal, one future. That is something we need to know. And in that whole bigger picture, I would say, in the bigger scheme of things, Ram temple or the concept of Ram in itself, irrespective of again faith and traditions, has been playing a pivotal role.
Yes, it's Ram Temple is a representation of India globally. It's not just something happening in India and for India. It is representing India in a positive manner to the
Right.
global audience, to the entire world. We are getting messages from around the globe from eminent personalities.
Right. We have both Ambassador Sajana there and also our colleague Kuldeep will be joining us momentarily. Ashok sir, I'll be coming to you just now. We wanted to go to Ayodhya for a quick update so that you can also, see for yourself. There seems to be a temple that my friend is standing at as of now. He's just fixing the audio-visual frame there. Kuldeep, if you could just fix the rotation of the camera. Better, much better. Kuldeep, well, you seem to be standing in front of a temple, which obviously the devotees, all of them would have shifted as of now to the main attraction. How was the day? How was the whole atmosphere there?
देखिए आज बहुत अच्छा यहाँ का वातावरण भी है क्योंकि आज कई दिनों के बाद यहाँ धूप खिली है। आज प्रभु श्री राम अयोध्या वापस आए हैं और इसी खुशी में इस वक्त जितने वीआईपी आए थे वो लोग दर्शन कर रहे हैं। एक एक करके तमाम सेल्फियों का दौर जारी है। मंदिर के अंदर जो मंदिर का प्रांगण है वहाँ अपने इस लम्हे को यादगार बनाने के लिए सभी लोग सेल्फी ले रहे हैं और वापस अपने घर की तरफ जाने का अब प्लान कर रहे हैं। आज शाम तक प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी यहीं रहेंगे और शाम को यहाँ पर जो सरयू घाट है, जो राम की पैड़ी है, पैड़ी में दीपावली के लिए दीपोत्सव आज मनाया जाना है। उसकी भव्य तैयारियां जैसे देव दीपावली और मुख्य दीपावली के दिन होती है वैसे ही तैयारियां चल रही हैं। अभी हम वहीं से लौट करके आ रहे हैं और रास्ते में यहाँ तक पहुँचने तक में कई घरों के बाहर रंगोलियां सजाई जा रही हैं, दीपक लगाए जा रहे हैं और वहाँ भी दीपावली मनाने की तैयारी चल रही है। जैसा कि प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने ये आह्वान किया था लोगों से कि घर में रह करके शाम को दीप जला करके कम से कम 5 दीप जला करके दीपावली मनाएं, उसका पूरा अनुसरण अयोध्या नगरी में हो रहा है और कई घरों से हमारी बातचीत हुई। बच्चे से लेकर के बड़ों तक सब लोग दीपावली की जैसे तैयारी करते हैं वैसे घर के बाहर रंगोली सजा रहे हैं, दीप लेकर के आए हैं, तेल और घी सब सारे इंतजाम। और शाम का जो नज़ारा है मैं उम्मीद कर सकता हूं कि यहाँ आतिशबाजी इतनी होने वाली है कि जितनी उम्मीद दीपावली में भी हम लोग नहीं करते। और आज सब कुछ अगर फिल्मी बात करें तो सब कुछ धुआं धुआं होने वाला है अयोध्या में।
राम की पैड़ी की आपने बात की कुलदीप, वो एक ऐसी जगह है जब मैंने पहली बार उस जगह पर विजिट किया और दर्शन किया, मुझे यकीन नहीं हुआ आरुषि, क्योंकि जो एक जाइंट स्क्रीन भी वहां लगाया है उन्होंने सरयू नदी के बिल्कुल बैंक्स पर उन्होंने किया है और शाम का नजारा बिल्कुल अलग होता है। आज तो पायरोटेक्निक्स की बात कर रहे हैं, आतिशबाजी की, वहां लाइट एंड साउंड शो का भी जबरदस्त नजारा होता है। तो टेल अस कुलदीप, आपको क्या लगता है कि जो अतिथिगण आए हुए हैं अभी वहां पर, शाम को वहां जब वो जाते हैं तो एक तो जन सैलाब सा हो जाएगा और कारण भी है, दे हैव अ गुड रीजन आल्सो।
हाँ बिल्कुल, अब अयोध्या जो आए और सरयू के घाट में ना जाए तो जो यहाँ की यात्रा है वो अधूरी रह जाती है। शाम को जो लाइट एंड साउंड का जो शो होने वाला है, जो लेजर लाइट से पूरी एक रामायण जो एक बार फिर से कही जानी है वहाँ पर, तो आज तो मुख्यमंत्री तो हैं ही और शाम तक रुकते हैं, लेकिन देखते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री उस कार्यक्रम में शरीक होते हैं, उस शो में शरीक होते हैं या नहीं, उसका इंतजार रहेगा। लेकिन जो लोग यहाँ पर आए हैं वो आज की शाम किसी भी हाल में मिस नहीं करेंगे। वो शाम को वहाँ पर एक बार फिर से वैसा ही माहौल बनेगा जैसे दीपावली में है। और आज का तो खास शो है क्योंकि आज तो प्रभु श्री राम अयोध्या वापस लौट करके आए हैं और यहाँ का नज़ारा बिल्कुल एकदम बदला हुआ है। सुरक्षा व्यवस्था आज पूरे दिन कड़ी चाक चौबंद है क्योंकि लगातार सड़कों पर वीआईपी मूवमेंट्स लगातार हो रहे हैं और गाड़ियां इधर से उधर दौड़ रही हैं। तो शाम का जो सरयू घाट का जो नज़ारा है, सरयू, आज मैं एक चीज़ और बता दूं पंकज जी आपको कि आज सरयू में जो लोग नौकायान करने वाले हैं, जो बोटिंग करने वाले हैं, उनके लिए जो वहाँ के कहें केवट हैं, जो निषाद हैं, उन्होंने आज फ्री व्यवस्था कर रखी है प्रभु श्री राम के आने पर। हाँ, तो ये एक अलग स्टोरी भी आपके लिए है, और ये आज उन्होंने फ्री कर रखा है। आज हम लोग घूम करके आए हैं, वहाँ के नज़ारे लेकर के आए। शानदार, जो भी यहाँ भक्त आए हुए हैं, राम भक्तों के जो मंदिर के दर्शन करने आए हैं वो तो ठीक है, और जो वहाँ जा रहे हैं सरयू के दर्शन करने, वहाँ भी उनको एक अच्छा ऑफर मिल रहा है, और पूरी सरयू नदी में उन्हें अच्छे नज़ारे दिखाए जा रहे हैं।
चलिए, कहते हैं कि एंजॉय टिल द ऑफर लास्ट। अगर आपने अभी तक नहीं लिया है, या हमारे दर्शक जो भी अयोध्या में हैं, अगर उन्होंने सरयू नदी पर नौका विहार नहीं किया है तो जरूर जाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कुलदीप आपका। हम आपसे फिर से आएंगे, आप अपनी यात्रा जारी रखिए। 5 बजे फिर आपसे मुलाकात होगी। In the meantime, it's our honor to have been joined by Ashok Sajanhar, former diplomat, a noted face and a voice to reckon with when it comes to international politics and also internal dynamics. Sajanhar sir, thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Same here. My colleague here is with me, Arushi. And
Hello,
Hi.
the question that comes to everyone's mind, obviously, India's image, I would say, getting a booster shot once again, re-emphasizing the faith in tradition and custom. How does it help the image outside of India as well?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on your show. I think over the last 8-10 years, India's profile, India's image, India's influence has been growing.
Mhm.
And of course, there have been a large number of reasons for that. I think the most important would be in terms of how well India's economy has done over these last 8-10 years. If I were to just give you a few statistics, 10 years ago, in 2014, India was the 10th largest economy in the world. Today, India is the 5th largest economy in the world, getting on to be close to about $4 trillion. And as we know, within the next couple of years, India is going to be the 3rd largest economy, after displacing Germany and France.
Right.
And we have heard over the last several months from, the heads of many international financial organizations, whether it is the IMF or the World Bank, who say that, in this time of doom and gloom on the economic front, India is the star performer. India is the only sort of, doing well, and so on and so forth. And I think the second thing is that although there have been so many challenges in the world, starting with the COVID-19, that was a black swan event, then followed by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, etc. Then more recently, this Israel-Hamas conflict. I think in the midst of all that, India has continued to grow, and not only continue to grow, but also continue with its economic reform program. And I could sort of, give you so many instances, whether it is the digital public infrastructure, it is the GST, so many initiatives have been taken. And I think the last thing would be that I could mention is the more recent G20 presidency of India, when no one expected India to come up with the consensus document. We were able to do that on the very first day. Then we had this Voice of Global South Summit, 2 of them. We were able to get the African Union inducted at the beginning of the program. So what I would say is that India's influence has been growing over the last several years. But that having been said, what I would bring you back to right at the beginning of Prime Minister Modi's tenure in 2015 and 16, when he was addressing the Indian public from the ramparts of the Red Fort, he had said we need to give up our mindset of always being judged by what the West is saying and what the West is thinking. We need to go back to our own traditions and our own civilizational strengths. We need to not be defensive or apologetic about what we are, but we need to take strength and we need to take pride in that. And I think this is what this inauguration, Pran Pratishtha, as we say, of the image of Lord Ram in the temple today, I think that is what it represents. And I think it represents values of Ramayana, which is compassion, which is equality, which is generosity, which is all these things. How a king should behave. Ram is known as the Maryada Purushottam, the best amongst men. How a son should be, how a husband should be, how a brother should be, how a ruler should be. So I think this is what Prime Minister Modi also in his speech said, that these are the ideals that we need to emulate from Ramayana.
Sir, as you were saying about India's economy and how it's growing, so as per this Ram Mandir construction is concerned, how do you think that this construction is going to play a part in India's economy?
I think what it does is it inspires confidence. It gives that confidence. Otherwise, if you are always looking for approval from outside and, depending upon what the others are thinking of you, here it is that even within ourselves, even within our country, our culture, our customs, our traditions, our civilization, we have that strength, and we are able to achieve what we set out to achieve. And I mentioned about the G20, but after that we also have the Chandrayaan, we have the Indian moon landing on the southern tip of the moon, which no other country has done, sending out Aditya and putting it in orbit around the sun to study the black holes and so on and so forth. So I think whether it is in the area of science, technology, space, and other areas, and I mentioned the digital public infrastructure. I think the manner in which India has been able to embrace fintech, I don't think any of the even developed countries have done. For instance, if you look at the cashless transactions that take place in India, India accounts for about 48% of the global financial transactions, cashless transactions that take place. So, India has, and in terms of how we have been able to go forward in providing benefits to the people through financial transactions without going through paper trails, etc., etc. When the government has to send funds or monies, there are more than 500 million accounts that have been opened over the last 10 years, and all beneficiaries can receive their money directly into their accounts. I can tell you that one of our former prime ministers, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, he had said in the 1980s that if the government wants to send, let us say, a 1 rupee to a particular beneficiary, then 85% of that amount gets lost midway with the middlemen. Today, when the government wishes to transfer 1 rupee, 100% of that amount is transferred to the beneficiary. So, whether it is lack of corruption, it is, instantaneous funds that are going out, the manner in which India is developing infrastructure. So I think it all goes together, that you mentioned as to how does the construction of the Ram temple, I think it takes you back to your value systems, and how those value systems of what we used, even the motto that we used in the G20, that is one earth, one family, one future, that the future of the world lies in cooperation and collaboration and not in confrontation. What is mentioned in our Upanishads, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that means the whole world is a family. And if it's a family, then you come together, you work together when there are challenges, rather than fighting with each other.
Absolutely.
Yes, you were saying that we have always been judged by the West countries and not in so good manner. And Prime Minister Modi once said that we should not be caring about how West judges us. But now that this Ram Mandir, the architectural marvel, has been constructed, do you think that the image, the perspective of West people, how they used to see us Indians, and India has been changed in some way after this construction?
Arushi, it's a matter of time. It's a process. It is not as if the Ram Mandir is being constructed today and tomorrow the perception will change. I think it has been changing as I recounted to you over the years. There has been a transformation, and I think if this temple and you must listen to the speech that the prime minister gave on that occasion, and I think it's a very inspiring speech. And what he really exhorted the people to do is that we need to be duty bound. We have great opportunities. We need to use those opportunities. And of course, the philosophy of India in terms of its foreign policy, foreign relations, is of being, what is called a Vishwamitra. That means a friend to all countries. And
Right.
this is what we have been trying to do. Whether you see, we have excellent relations with the US, with the West. India has become more or less a permanent invitee to all G7 meetings, whether it was Hiroshima here or earlier, whether it was in UK or Germany or Italy, everywhere. So India is a member there. India is a very significant voice of the global South. As I said, we organize these Voice of Global South summits, two of them. India's relations with countries in the South. And so, we bridge the divide
Right.
between North and South and between the East and West by having the good relations also with the Russian Federation, notwithstanding the fact that there is the Russia-Ukraine conflict is going on, and the West has been bearing down on Russia. So I think we have this image that we straddle across all these fault lines,
Right.
and I think the way the country moves forward, both economically as well as in terms of its strategic connect with the world, I think definitely it will have an impact on how the world looks upon India.
Yes, sir.
Ashok sir, one final question before we say good evening to you is the fact that Prime Minister Modi's visits to countries outside India, to all foreign countries, has one thing in common, that the diaspora that live in those countries have made the name India proud, and Prime Minister Modi has always encouraged them to do even well, and also be the connecting link between those countries, among those countries. Now, a lot of visuals are coming in from all the nooks and crannies of the world with the chants of Jai Shri Ram, and the kind of excitement that is being seen, particularly I'm not just referring to United States or California or in Atlanta, or for that matter, London. I mean, far away, Nuremberg in Germany, to Tanzania in Africa. I mean, Mauritius, once again. This role of India, the image that India, has as of now, as a science and tech leader, as an economic tycoon now, software, soft power also for that matter, yoga, and now this, a stamp of authority as far as the culture is concerned. How big an achievement do you see this for the diaspora?
You mentioned 2 points. Let me very quickly go through them. I think diaspora, India had started paying attention to it even in the past. We started this Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards and having this
Yes.
Pravasi Bharatiya sort of, Divas since 2001. But I think the energy that has been imparted to it after Prime Minister Modi came, and, since you mentioned it, you would very well recall his first visit to the United States, and his address at the Madison Square Garden, and where there were so many congressmen, so many senators, so many governors who were there, and the atmosphere was electrifying, and he has continued to do that wherever he has gone. And you would recall that many all even the foreign leaders, they also want to come onto the same stage along with PM Modi. Because if you remember when there was Howdy Modi event in 2019
Uh-huh.
in Houston, Mr. Trump was on stage. Recently, when Mr. Modi was in Sydney in Australia,
Really?
it was Prime Minister Albanese was there. So definitely, I think the diaspora has become a very important element. They take pride in the manner in which India is growing, but they
Mhm.
also would like to be associated in that sense with India in in a more proactive way. So I think that this the way India is doing, it will further enhance and give greater dynamism and vitalization to this living bridge. That is what we call them. This the diaspora,
Absolutely.
and what is happening in the world around. You're very right. I think this is a celebration that is being made because many people say
Mhm.
that India is a predominantly Hindu country, but it's a secular country. And
True.
if 80%, 85% of the country wanted, Hindus wanted that this temple should be established,
Mhm.
there could have been very many other methods which could have been used in other countries. But in India, the movement has been going on for the last more than 60, 70 years. But the Indians, they followed the course of law. And it is through the Supreme Court. It was not through a political fiat or a political direction or any other people's movement as such,
Mhm.
but it was the process of law, the due process of law that was followed, as a result of which this decision was given. And along with the temple,
Mhm.
an equally big mosque is also being constructed in the same vicinity. So I think this is also a very strong message, a very powerful message that, when in India we are constructing this temple, we are not gloating over it. We are not doing any chest thumping that, we are victorious and all. No, not at all. I think there is humility, and that is what Prime Minister Modi also said, that rather than thinking of it as Vijay, we
Mhm.
should be imbued with Vinay, with humility. And I think that is the sort of attitude, not only in national affairs, but also in global affairs, that we really need to pursue. So, and that is what will give us peace and security and stability.
Right. Sajna, sir, thank you so much. Always, a learning experience with you, I would say, and our viewers also go back informed. Thank you so much for summing it up like no other. And the concept that you said, the law of the land, has been followed like unlike any other country, is something which is an achievement in itself. Thank you so much. We hope to see you very soon. Thank you. Have a
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Pleasure being with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ashok Sajanardya, former diplomat, and as I mentioned, a noted face and a voice to reckon with when it comes to matters pertaining to India and abroad as well. Arushi, I mean, it is going to be an evening to remember at the Ram Ki Pedi in Saryu Ghat and other parts of Ayodhya too, or for that matter, almost 10 hours of drive far away here in Noida and Delhi NCR region. People are I would say excited, and we have seen a lot of people and residential societies also today opening their gates for bhandaras and all. जो
Yes,
जो
yes.
एक तरीके का जो फर्वर है, लोग इसको दिवाली की तरह मना रहे हैं. हम देखते हैं दशहरे के समय आपको ऐसे भंडारे का आयोजन होता है, दिवाली पर होता है, बट यहाँ पर मुझे लगता है एक बार फिर से दिवाली मना रहे हैं. And I think India, I wouldn't say Hindus only, India deserves to have it because see, I mean, Makkah, Medina in Saudi Arabia,
Yes.
a Vatican City in Italy, Rome. Then why not a Hindu traditional cultural center in the heart of India? I mean, I think it's only required.
Yes, as you were saying, it's not just Ayodhya, it's throughout the country. People are celebrating it with their heart. I went out a few hours ago and I saw that people were giving free street food and all those saffron flags all over the roads. Everyone is fearlessly doing it. The openly take out their saffron and all, but now they are openly doing it. As you were saying, the second thing, sorry.
About the Bhandara that has been.
Yes, definitely. All of that is, and yeah, the Vatican City example which you were giving, Kandaranod gave the same example and said, why not in India? Something which we will say out and say that, like you have Makkah, Medina, you have Vatican City, we have Ayodhya Ram Temple.
And we have it, and also, the diaspora that Ambassador Sajjanal was also mentioning. I mean, for them also to come back home, to connect with their roots, it's very important that they see and they have something at home also, which is the epicenter of their belief. It's not that when they come to India, they have to travel to a Sri Lanka or, for that matter, a different country in order to actually reach a place where they or the traditions say they come from.
Yes.
So very important as of now aspect here. We would be shortly joined by our colleague once again from Ayodhya, and
Okay.
as of now, it's our pleasure to have Pandit Satish K. Sharma ji, author and director, Global Hindu Federation, joining us all the way from London in UK. Must I say a good day to you, sir? Because I believe still the day is bright and sunny, I hope, there in London. And a new sun has risen here in India in the form of Ram Lalla's temple. How do you see it, Pandit Sharma ji? And welcome to One India. And your initial thoughts on this grand temple that
Firstly, Jai Shri Ram to you, and Jai Shri Ram to all of your viewers as well. You know, in Britain, they say ex oriente lux, that the light and the sun rises over in the east. And this morning I was sitting here watching daylight emerge and watching the Pran Pratishtha going on as well, and it was truly as though a new sun has been created and has risen, cascading its radiance across the globe. So it's a delight to be a part of this event and to witness it and to see it. And Jai Shri Ram and Jai Siya Ram to everybody. I'm looking forward to everyone joining in the global Ram Dhun that has started this morning.
Right, and looking at looking at the joy, well, not just in India but also outside. We saw visuals from London. We had a gentleman joining us all the way from reading in slow. All those areas, be it UK, Europe, or US, the Indian diaspora is celebrating as if it were a Diwali today. And why not? I mean, how does it help the diaspora who are living outside India in different countries with different cultures to now say that yes, they come from a land of Rama?
Well, it's a massive boost to all of us. Although the diaspora, should we say, people think we're a long way from home and that maybe we have changed and we have abandoned some of our traditional identity foundations. The appearance of Shri Ram, Ram Lallaji, as the incarnation of divinity, it actually infuses all of us with a connection. You know, it's very difficult to live in nations, especially where colonization was created, where very harsh and oppressive identities were imposed upon indigenous people. The appearance of this identity is something that's kept us continuously connected. I remember from the early 60s when I was here as a young child, there were no mandirs at that time in the United Kingdom. And we would gather together and our parents would do an Akhand Ramayan part. And my father used to read the Ramayan in front of us from start to finish. And we used to watch him cry at certain moments. He would laugh in joy at certain moments. And as we understood the journey that he was talking about, we became very attached to the Ram Katha itself. It holds something for all of us. And so this is a wonderful boost, a shot in the arm for all of us in being able to talk further and spread the message of Maryada Purushottam.
Right. And Pandit Sharma, I mean, needless to say, I wanted to ask this question. How is 10 Downing Street doing? Do you see any solutions here also?
Oh dear. Well, before I jump to 10 Downing Street, I would like to say that in Parliament only last week, Hindus gathered to make sure that Jai Shri Ram was echoing through the corridors of Parliament. And that was a wonderful thing to be a part of. Only a few days ago, I was in Switzerland, in Davos, and there Hindus were greeting each other with Jai Shri Ram across the street, complete strangers. And so this has actually brought a lot of Hindus into that space where they can say this. I'm hoping that our dear Prime Minister, Honourable Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will also have an opportunity to immerse himself in the message of Sri Ram as a leader and bring that out into his activities. He certainly needs support and as much urja as Prime Minister Modi ji said at this moment.
All right. Pandit Sharma, I mean, share with us the work that you and your team have been doing, and also the kind of efforts that you have been putting in, because it's really a pleasure, to know about the Hindu Federation, Global Hindu Federation. There has been global Hindu conferences also time and again. How important it is, and how is the process to go about it, and why, as of now, I think it gains all the more significance with the conservation, sir.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this. It is so important. We are an ancient civilization.
Right.
A long time back, we made our mistakes, and we have learned that for humanity to survive, we have to go beyond karma, we have to go beyond kam, we have to go beyond arth, and then we move into this dharma thing, this living harmoniously. Whereas a lot of the adolescent civilizations are still stuck either in kam, or they're then stuck in artha. And we have got an obligation now to share with them that actually there is one more step. And if you make that step into harmonious existence, it's actually good for everybody. And here at the Federation, we have been trying to become that connecting voice, that communicating voice that can take some of these messages and understandings and share them in an outside of Bharat environment. We have done some work recently in the United States where it was necessary for us to do that. We have done work extensively in the United Kingdom. And I think our time is coming. I definitely have a sense of Ram Rajya beginning. This is not the end, by the way. The work has only just begun. Ram Lalla has appeared, right? We haven't seen the Maryada Purushottam fully manifest yet. And so we all have a task where we need to become that Vanar Sena and do our little bit to help the reunification and the completion of Ram Rajya.
Absolutely. One final question before I say good day to you once again, Pandit Sharma. I look at your Twitter handle. It says the British Hindu. That's where Pandit Sharma can be reached at the British Hindu. Just taking a cue from the same, for the Hindus in Great Britain, a long history, no doubt about it, and especially to a country which was once the colonial power also. But now things have changed, and that's the beauty of this globalization, the global culture. And your role as an institution, as a medium to bring two cultures together, I think that is one of the biggest jobs, Arshi, human job that you are doing. So in that regard, what is your message to India and to the UK, if you may please share?
Well, India is the mothership. There is no doubt that returning to Bharat infuses one with some sort of Pran Shakti which is not available anywhere else in the world. It has held that place and it has nourished us. Here in the United Kingdom, we have an interesting moment in its journey. Britain has not recognized or reconciled its past. And we are a continuous reminder that there is a story yet to be told. We have to go from recognition. We have to give them the opportunity to express remorse. We have to then work out some way of soft power reparations, and then we can have reconciliation. So to some degree, I often say to people, we are Vibhishan Sena. We are the Vibhishan Shakti in the Lanka of the last millennium, and so we're doing our little bit to try and make that as painless as possible. But thank you, Rohitji. I really appreciate the question.
No, definitely, it's a pleasure, sir. And it only goes on to prove that thanks to this day that we got an opportunity to speak to you, to interact with you. I was in Ayodhya at Karsivakpuram, waiting for the Tirtha Kshetra Secretary Champat Rayji's interview. And there I read the Panchajanya copy was there at the table, which is obviously comes the mouthpiece of RSS there. But it had the mention of, the Global Hindu Federation. It had the mention of Global Hindu Congress also. And at that particular point of time, I said that I have also spent a lot of time in the African continent. And this notion, maybe I was more focusing on the earth side of it, but, that aspect of what all you can do when you are in a different country in a very positive manner, I think someone should learn it from you.
Oh, you're very kind. You're very generous. I can take no credit for it whatsoever. There are some of us whose nature is to be agents of change, and I'm putting that as nicely and gently as I possibly can. We are the contributors in the Samudra Manthan, and sometimes there is always a little bit of vish which arises, and we have to internalize it and bring the nectar as well. You mentioned Africa. I have had so many messages from African friends saying how excited they are to see Bharat regain its indigenous voice. They are saying that the appearance of the Ram Mandir is actually something they really resonate with, and they want to work to be able to reconnect with their old traditions and their old ancestral wisdom. So I think if we see a greater cultural connection between Africa and indeed Bharat, the whole of the global south will receive this Pran Shakti that's going out from Ayodhya, and we will see hopefully a new era.
Yes, and needless to say, Pandit Satish Sharmaji, with every step that the world would be taking, I'm sure India would be acknowledged for its complimentary and commendable job as far as peace, harmony, tranquility is concerned. And needless to say that the third hour of reparation, I wish you all the very best, because that is due from our very good friends now.
As you can imagine, we will derive great anand in bringing them to the table and acknowledging that.
That's about it. But nonetheless, the whole world is welcome, and so are you. Thank you so much for
Thank you, Rohitji. Jai Shri Ramji, my pleasure, and I look forward to meeting in person.
Thank you, same here. Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
And you too, Ji.
Right. So there you see, Arushi, voices from across the world. I would say Pandit Satish K. Sharmaji, author and director, Global Hindu Federation from London. His joy also speaks volumes. I mean, he was excited, and the sense of achievement was also there.
Yes, being in a foreign country, on a foreign land, and promoting your culture, your traditions very proudly is something you need confidence to do that. And indeed, he has done it very well.
No doubt. Global Hindu Federation,
Yes.
as I was telling you, reading out that magazine in Ayodhya, where the mention was there, I covered it, from top to bottom. And this again is an aspect that the role that they are playing within the limits of, I would say, secularism and the civility. Is not that at times it is mistaken as some sort of assertion, but it was not there. I was reading it as a piece of literature and accomplishment. And needless to say, this world has a place for every voice, and that's how democracy works, and that's what is appreciated across the country. Momentarily, we shall be joined by Kuldeep Dev, our journalist, our reporter on ground in Ayodhya,
Giving us updates, every bit update
Absolutely.
since last few days. Yeah.
And the visuals coming in from on the screens from Ram Ki Peri, the celebrations have already started. The deck has been set there, Arushi. As I was mentioning Saryu, obviously on the banks of which Ayodhya is situated. So what they have done, they have taken a tributary sort of water body into at the Ram Ki Peri, and it appears like a lake right in front of you, and then there are temples all dotted all across on the other side, and a huge giant screen. I think it's almost 300 meters long and about 100-meter in width. That screen pans out, opens on the horizon, and then they project through the lights. They project Ram Leela and
then
Ramayana.
there is special arrangement, especially for today on the day of consecration
Absolutely.
ceremony. It is much awaited, and also as our colleague Kuldeep was mentioning that it is awaited that if Prime Minister Modi is going to attend the event or not. So that's also a thing.
Definitely. Our the One India page, if you visit One India English on YouTube, you would see the voices also that spoke to us from Africa, from United States, UK, Middle East, then all the way to the eastern part of the world to Japan, land of rising sun, Australia, New Zealand, all the way to Fiji also, Philippines. So we spoke to almost guests and Indian diaspora from at least 16 to 18 countries, and they spoke in one voice, and that voice was Jai Shri Ram for one go. And secondly, the concept of preserving your traditions and how best it can be done, because for any belief, Arushi, for any thought to stay there for longer, is the fact that it should be all imbibing. If it's too rigid, then it won't be able to accept several voices, several faces, several faiths. But as far as Hinduism is concerned, and all the Hindus and Indians, I would say, when you go outside, I think you lose, the concept of Hindu Muslim. You
Yes.
are an Indian. So whenever I also refer to them, I just tell them that you are Indian. And that concept of Bharatiya hone ka jo concept hai, how they preserve it, the role that language plays, the role that Ramcharitmanas has played, the role that folklores have played is immense.
So, we go outside and we see each other as just Indians. We don't ask which religion you belong to. I think that's what is needed in India itself too. When we talk to each other, regardless of which religion, which caste, or who we are talking, we all are Indians. And as you were saying that rigidness should not come in between us, in between each other. This Ram temple also should be celebrated by all Indians, not just by a particular community or particular people, because it is not just going to play religious part, but it is going to play, as we were discussing, economic, going to represent us in front of the global audience in a positive manner. So there are many aspects of it. So regardless of just making it a religious event, just making it a political event, we should be seeing it as Indians and taking proud of it.
All right. I mean, as far as the opinion is concerned, it is well respected, Arushi. And for our viewers, there's no way that my opinion would be their opinion. But yes, from the point of view that how this particular temple would be playing a pivotal role as far as India's identity is concerned, as far as the economy is concerned, very important that Ashok Sajjanarji spoke. Very crucial aspect of economy, what you asked Ashok Sajjanarji, is the fact that one thing that is associated with temples, Arushi, is the fact of footfalls. How many visitors are coming. I mean, Kashi Vishwanath came into existence, 2 years ago? Kashi Vishwanath corridor. Almost 8 to 9 crore visitors have already been there. And that means, the business to the local community.
Yes, it also plays a part in the tourism sector. It builds a very strong tourism for any country. This Ram temple, I think that for upcoming for like upcoming March and April,
Mhm.
it is going to be full, absolutely. But in future, it is also going to gather foreign audience because of the buzz which has been created, because of the all those talks which are happening. So also, obviously it plays a part in the tourism sector too, and that correlates it to the economic part, the business part,
Right.
all together.
And
Yeah.
when you mention business and economy, we have our colleague Bhavna joining us from Newsroom, who decodes the number for us. She is the one who manages Good Returns page, One India's business portal, where you could catch all the latest stories coming from the industry, from the business sector. Bhavna, Jeffries, one of the analyst company says 50 million would be the business volume. What latest do you have on Ram Temple as far as the figures are concerned? Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Bhavna, I will ask you to unmute the page also. You'll have to unmute it. Yes, now please go on.
हाँ यस पंकज, हम लोग इकोनॉमी के अगर एस्पेक्ट से देखें तो
जी।
कल ही 21 जनवरी को एसबीआई की रिपोर्ट आई थी कि अयोध्या में राम मंदिर के बनने से यूपी की जो एडिशनल इनकम होनी है वो 25,000 करोड़ होनी है। तो ये एसबीआई का डेटा था। इसके अलावा जैसे आप बात कर रहे थे जेफरीज की, तो अगर हम जेफरीज की बात करें तो उन्होंने भी एक रिपोर्ट जारी की जिसमें उन्होंने ये बताया है कि किस तरीके से इकोनॉमी मतलब बूस्ट हो सकती है। राम मंदिर की जो ग्रैंड ओपनिंग सेरेमनी आज हुई है, इससे इंडियन इकोनॉमी को भी काफी ज्यादा अच्छा खासा इम्पैक्ट पड़ने वाला है, एक अच्छा खासा बूस्ट मिलने वाला है। तो अगर मैं उस रिपोर्ट की बात करूं तो उसमें ये क्लियरली बताया गया है कि जो मेकओवर चल रहा है अयोध्या का, उसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट दैट इज $10 बिलियन, $10 बिलियन की इन्वेस्टमेंट से अयोध्या का मेकओवर हो रहा है। और इसमें अगर हम लोग बात करें कि जो टूरिस्ट है वो कितने आ सकते हैं, तो जो उन्होंने एस्टिमेट लगाया है वो लगाया है 50 करोड़ का, कि इतने टूरिस्ट हर साल अयोध्या में गैदर हो सकते हैं। तो आप इससे अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि इससे ज्यादा इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट मिलने वाला है। क्योंकि अगर हम लोग कुछ स्पेसिफिक अगर टूरिज्म सेक्टर के हम लोग डेटा की बात करें कि हमारी जीडीपी में कितना कंट्रीब्यूशन रहा है टूरिज्म सेक्टर का, तो अगर उसके मैं स्पेसिफिक डेटा की बात करूं तो 2018 से 2019 में, उस टाइम पे ये मैं कोरोना काल से पहले की बात कर रही हूँ, इसमें $194 बिलियन का कंट्रीब्यूशन था सिर्फ टूरिज्म सेक्टर का इंडियन इकोनॉमी में, इंडियन जीडीपी में। उसके बाद अगर हम लोग बात करें, ऐसा एस्टिमेट लगाया गया है कि फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2032 से 2033 तक जो ये $194 बिलियन का जो ये आंकड़ा है, ये हो जाएगा $443 बिलियन। और अगर हम सारी, क्योंकि अगर हम कोरोना काल के टाइम से भी अगर हम लोग बात करें तो जिस तरीके से अगर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से अगर बिल्ड नहीं है, तो भी अगर एवरेज निकाल के देखा जाए तो तकरीबन 3 करोड़ टूरिस्ट इंडिया के जितने भी टूरिस्ट स्पॉट है वहां पर गैदर होते हैं। तो अगर एक अच्छा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, अच्छी तरीके से डेवलपमेंट हो, जो कि अयोध्या में इस वक्त हो भी रही है, चाहे हम लोग एयरपोर्ट की बात कर ले, चाहे हम लोग रेलवे स्टेशन की बात कर ले, चाहे हम लोग जो न्यू सिटी न्यू टाउनशिप वहां पर डेवलप हो रहा है अगर हम उसकी बात कर ले, हम किसी भी लिहाज से बात कर ले, सड़क कनेक्टिविटी की बात कर ले, तो उससे आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं और हमारे व्यूअर्स भी अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि वो इकोनॉमी को किस तरीके से बूस्ट कर सकता है। क्योंकि इंडिया की जीडीपी में टूरिज्म सेक्टर का बहुत ही अच्छा खासा कंट्रीब्यूशन है। जी पंकज।
Yes, these are the huge big numbers which we are talking about, but I would also like to bring the point that the small vendors, the nearby shopkeepers, they have also seen a surge in their selling, in their business. What was 20% at before the Ram Mandir consecration, now it has risen to 80% for them. I was watching a ground report, and from there, a local shopkeeper, he was saying that we are very happy, we are seeing a surge in our business. So these are the huge numbers which Bhavna decoded for us, but at the same time, on ground level, people are also growing, the business is also growing.
Right. भावना, आपने मेंशन किया टूरिज्म सेक्टर के बारे में। अभी रिसेंटली हमने देखा था कि मालदीव्स को लेकर जिस तरह से एक बात चली और लोगों ने अपने टिकट कैंसिलेशंस किए और लक्षद्वीप को नया डेस्टिनेशन माना। हालांकि लक्षद्वीप को भी तैयार होने में और उतनी उस कैपेसिटी में टूरिस्ट को हैंडल करने के लिए तैयार होना होगा, उसके लिए अलग व्यवस्था करनी होगी। बट जहां तक अयोध्या का सवाल है, काशी विश्वनाथ से अगर आप इसको कंपेयर करें तो काशी विश्वनाथ में पिछले 2 या 3 सालों में, अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूं, तो उसका आंकड़ा रफी 8 करोड़ लोगों का था। यहाँ अगर हम 1 साल की बात करें अयोध्या की, तो उसमें जो फुटफॉल लगभग 50 करोड़ लोगों की बात हो रही है। मुझे नहीं लगता है हालांकि ये इन्फ्लेटेड फिगर है। क्यों? क्योंकि मैं खुद वहां से होकर आया हूँ और मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि सारी सड़कें जो है वो अयोध्या ही आके रुक रही हैं। तो I know for myself that me and my family, my father and mother would be wanting to go there at the earliest. तो इस लिहाज से आपको क्या लगता है, एक नया टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन डेवलप हो रहा है?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल पंकज, अगर हम इस लिहाज से देखें जिस तरीके से आप बात कर रहे हो और जितने भी एस्टिमेट्स लगाए जा रहे हैं, इस लिहाज से भी देखा जाए तो अयोध्या सिर्फ हम एक डोमेस्टिक लेवल पर नहीं बोल सकते, इनफैक्ट इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर भी एक अच्छा खासा, जैसे आयुषी ने भी मेंशन किया था, ये फॉरेनर्स जो है उनको भी काफी अच्छा खासा अट्रैक्ट करने वाला है। अगर हम बाकी लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल, एक बहुत ही छोटा सा एग्जांपल मैं दे रही हूँ, हम लोग ऋषिकेश जाते हैं, हम लोग वैष्णो देवी जाते हैं, वो भी एक टूरिस्ट प्लेस है एक तरीके से, वहां पर भी फॉरेनर्स हम देखते हैं कितने ज्यादा मात्रा में इकट्ठा होते हैं। इस तरीके से अयोध्या जो कि अगर हम इसका प्रचार प्रसार देखें, इसकी मार्केटिंग देखें, वो भी कितने ग्लोबल लेवल पर हुई है, तो ये डेफिनेटली फॉरेन टूरिस्ट को भी अट्रैक्ट करने वाला है। एंड इसके अलावा जो यहाँ पर अगर एयरपोर्ट की हम लोग बात कर ले, एयरपोर्ट का जो फर्स्ट फेज कंप्लीट हुआ है वो तकरीबन 175 मिलियन में कंप्लीट हुआ है, जिसकी जो कैपेसिटी है, हैंडलिंग कैपेसिटी, वो तकरीबन लाखों में है कि वो 60 लाख के आसपास पैसेंजर्स को हैंडल कर सकते हैं। रेलवे स्टेशन पर डे 60,000 पैसेंजर्स को हैंडल कर सकता है। तो इस लिहाज से भी हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि अयोध्या में जिस तरीके की फैसिलिटीज दी जा रही हैं, वहां पर बहुत महंगे महंगे होटल्स की चेन जो है, चाहे वो टाटा, रेडिसन, ताज हो, तो उनकी जिस तरीके से चेन भी वहां पर आ रही है, तो उस लिहाज से भी देखा जा सकता है कि अयोध्या अब एक उभरता हुआ, एक इमर्जिंग टूरिस्ट स्पॉट बन रहा है, ना सिर्फ इंडिया के लेवल पर, नेशनल लेवल पर, बल्कि ग्लोबल लेवल पर।
बिल्कुल। अनुषी, आप कुछ सवाल लेना चाह रही थी भावना से?
हाँ, आई वाज आस्किंग दिस ओनली कि इंटरनेशनल जो टूरिस्ट हैं उनके लिए क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है, एंड आर वी एक्सपेक्टिंग इंटरनेशनल टूरिस्ट इन अयोध्या, व्हिच भावना राइटली आंसर्ड।
वेल, एक इंटरनेशनल हवाई पट्टी, हवाई अड्डा वहां बनाया गया है और बिल्कुल। भावना, एक आखिरी सवाल। आई नो इट्स अ हेक्टिक डे फॉर यू, यू कवर्ड द प्राण प्रतिष्ठा आल्सो nicely on your page. Good returns, congratulations for that. And one quick a reminder to our viewers that any religious destination which also happens to be a tourist destination is also guided from the fact that how easily it is accessible. हम भारत जो है विविधताओं का देश है। यहाँ पर एक ही साथ आपको चारों मौसम नजर आते हैं, अलग अलग ज्योग्राफिकल लोकेशन से, कहीं पहाड़ों पर आपको चढ़ना पड़ता है, कहीं रेगिस्तान से गुजरना पड़ता है, तो कहीं समुद्र की भी यात्रा करनी पड़ती है, if you go down south to Port Blair and other places. एक्सेसिबिलिटी के लिहाज से भावना बहुत ही आसान है अयोध्या पहुंचना, चाहे वो रेलवे के माध्यम से हो, चाहे वो फ्लाइट के माध्यम से हो। सब्सिडरी जो सेक्टर्स होते हैं, चाहे वो रेलवेज हो गए, चाहे वो एयरलाइन हो गई या लोकल ट्रांसपोर्ट हो गया, उससे भी क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो एक मैं इकोनॉमिक बूस्ट तो नहीं कहूंगा, लेकिन हाँ, उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया की एक तरीके की पूरी इकोनॉमी तब्दील सी हो जाती है?
बिल्कुल, देखिए पहले क्या था, जब वहां पर फ्लाइट्स के ऑपरेशन नहीं थे, और रेलवे स्टेशन की भी हम लोग बात करें तो जो फैजाबाद था वो एक बड़ा रेलवे स्टेशन हुआ करता था, और अयोध्या का जो रेलवे स्टेशन था वो छोटा रेलवे स्टेशन था। उसके अलावा वहां पर जो कनेक्टिविटी की उससे हम देखें तो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन उतना ज्यादा इजी तरीके से नहीं हो पाता था। लेकिन अब क्योंकि अयोध्या का डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, राम मंदिर की ग्रैंड ओपनिंग सेरेमनी आज हुई है, तो इन सारी चीजों के बावजूद वहां पर हम लोग फ्लाइट की कनेक्टिविटी कर ले। आप इस तरीके से इसको समझ सकते हैं कि जो सफर जिसमें आपको 12 से 15 घंटे लगते थे, आप दिल्ली से अगर अयोध्या जाते हैं तो आपको पूरी रात की आपकी जर्नी लगती थी, लेकिन अगर आप 2 घंटे में पहुंच पा रहे हैं तो वो बहुत ईजी हो जाता है आपके लिए पहुंच पाना। तो जब आप किसी भी जगह पर बहुत जल्दी पहुंच पाते हैं, आपकी वो कनेक्टिविटी बहुत ज्यादा इजी हो जाती है, तो डेफिनेटली वो एक बहुत ही इम्पैक्ट डालता है कि लोग वहां पर जल्दी से पहुंच सकते हैं। वहां की चाहे हम एम्प्लॉयमेंट में लगा ले, चाहे हम किसी भी लिहाज से लगा ले, तो एक अच्छा खासा इम्पैक्ट तो पड़ता ही है।
Beautiful, Bhavna. Thank you so much for breaking it down, decoding the business aspect, the money matters associated with a grand temple like this. I hope, Bhavna, next very quickly you are also booking your tickets to Ayodhya. मुझे लगता है अब वहाँ होटल्स के दाम थोड़े मुझे लगता है कंट्रोल में आए होंगे. होटल इंडस्ट्री के बारे में भावना कुछ आप जल्दी से जानकारी देना चाहेंगे, किस तरह का बूस्ट रहा इस बार वहाँ पर होटल बुकिंग्स और सर्विस सेक्टर में?
ओके पंकज, मैं इसी के साथ अपना खुद का एक्सपीरियंस आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूंगी. मैं लास्ट ईयर अयोध्या में गई थी. सो जस्ट फॉर अ विजिट मैं अयोध्या में गई थी. तो उस टाइम पे कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज थी जिनके प्राइस 1,000 2,000 मैक्स, बहुत अच्छे होटल्स के जो प्राइस थे वो 2,500 में मिल रहे थे. लेकिन अब मैं रिसेंटली, मैं कल परसों के लिए ही पता कर रही थी, तो वहां के जो होटल के पर नाइट का जो किराया था वो 10,000 हो चुका है. जिसकी कीमत 2,000 हुआ करती थी वो 10,000 में मिल रहा है.
5 गुना.
और ये मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, ये जो वहाँ के नॉर्मल होटल्स है ना, लोकल होटल्स हैं, ये मैं आपको उनका किराया बता रही हूँ. इतना ज्यादा किराया वहां पर हो चुका है. लेकिन अब जैसे जो फेमस चेन्स आ गई है, होटल की चेन्स आ गई है, उससे डेफिनेटली इतना ज्यादा बूस्ट मिला है होटल इंडस्ट्री. अगर मैं शेयर्स के लिहाज से भी बोल लूं तो मैं अपने व्यूवर्स को बताना चाहूंगी कि बहुत ही अच्छा दाव आप इस टाइम पे लगा सकते हैं. अगर आप होटल इंडस्ट्री में अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा दाव इसमें लगा सकते हैं, क्योंकि होटल इंडस्ट्री अयोध्या में बूम कर रही है. इसके अलावा पंकज, मैं रियल एस्टेट भी यहाँ पर जोड़ना चाहूंगी. 2019 में जो जगह का दाम था उसके कंपैरिजन में अगर हम देखें तो तकरीबन 8 से 9 टाइम्स, 8 से 9 गुना उसके प्राइसेस बढ़ चुके हैं. और जो लैंड का प्राइस है वो अयोध्या के राम मंदिर की जितनी भी नजदीकी है उसके हिसाब से उनका प्राइस भी बढ़ता जा रहा है. तो जब से ये वर्डिक्ट आया था, राम मंदिर का वर्डिक्ट आया था, उसके बाद से ही वहां पे चाहे वो होटल के प्राइसेस हो, चाहे वो लैंड के प्राइसेस हो, वो लगातार बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. और अब चूंकि यहाँ पर राम लला विराजमान भी हो चुके हैं राम मंदिर में, उसके बाद तो इतने ज्यादा प्राइसेस में जंप आया है, हर चीज के प्राइसेस में जंप आया है. तकरीबन 1.25 लाख करोड़ रुपए का एडिशनल बिजनेस 22 जनवरी के दिन हुआ है.
Bhavna, hearing you and learning from you makes me feel regret only one thing. I should have met you earlier. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing down all the details and giving the monetary aspect of this all-important Ram temple, the consecration ceremony of which was concluded today by none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He led the nation from the front and brought Ram Lalla home. And that's what people are saying. And Prime Minister Modi, the homecoming of Prime Minister himself, Ram aa gaye. Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you. It was a pleasure to speak to you. Arushi, as we are counting down to 5 o'clock, our colleague Kuldeep would be standing by in Ayodhya to give us all the details. Also, very importantly, जो भावना ने हमें बताया, it looks like we have a great tourist destination in place, at least thankfully near to Delhi NCR.
Yeah, so she was talking about the rise in hotel prices. If I see it from the economic point of view, then yes, it is good. But I had a question, is it good from the tourist point of view that the hotel which we were getting in 2,000, now it costs 10,000? So
well, that price surge had primarily happened, what Bhavna was also mentioning, because of this consecration ceremony. Because if you have sudden surge in demand, the supply is obviously in lesser numbers, so that's why the prices have gone up. Our correspondents who are in Ayodhya as of now, when they join us, they will tell you how much they got the room for. Because when I went there, there was an X budget which was allocated for accommodation. When they went there, it was a 10x budget that was allocated. So this will give you an idea that how costly it had become, which is fine, I would say, for this big day, when obviously
yes,
there would
because
be...
also we have to restrict the tourism in this particular day, because as Prime Minister said that everyone can't visit on the inauguration day itself.
But still, I think they have
they
made...
didn't stop.
They have, the hotel business, as they say, they must have been, going smiling all the way to the bank.
Yes.
It's already 5 o'clock. Very soon we shall be joined by another guest on the panel. And our colleagues here in the newsroom are also excited, preparing the run order for how the One India YouTube page would be looking until tomorrow morning. We are getting you voices from across the globe, and when I say across the globe, we have made it sure that we don't leave any time zone.
Yeah.
Okay, be it the remotest part of Latin America to the Americas to Canada,
Yes.
coming towards the eastern side, Europe, England, Middle East, Asia, Central Asia, then Southeast Asia, and then towards the end of the earth, Australia and New Zealand. We have covered it all for you. That is a 2-hour segment that you can enjoy and learn from the diaspora, that how they have maintained and preserved their culture. आरुषि, उसके बाद प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का आज का जो पूरा कार्यक्रम रहा है, दिन के 12:30 बजे से प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने हाथ में कलश के साथ उन्होंने अपने कदम बढ़ाए मंदिर की तरफ, और वहां से लेकर जो प्राण प्रतिष्ठा की पूरी प्रक्रिया हुई, गर्भगृह में वो गए, आरती हुई, उसके बाद बाहर निकलकर सीएम योगी आदित्यनाथ और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी और मोहन भागवत ने वहां पर लोगों को संबोधित किया। इसका भी हम आपको हाइलाइट्स दिखाएंगे इसी पेज वन इंडिया पर। और आरुषि, एक चीज मैं आपसे जानना चाह रहा था, लास्ट टाइम व्हेन वी स्पोक, you were planning to go to Ayodhya. Obviously now the time has arrived. So how quickly or how soon do you see going there with you and your family?
You know what, Pankaj? When I saw Ram Lalla's ideal today, when it was unveiled with all those jewelries and attire, it was so mesmerizing that I am again saying the same line, that I couldn't wait from going and visiting that place. But of course, for upcoming 2 months, it's gonna be so much crowded, because I'm not alone saying that. There are many people in India and across the globe who want to visit. So I'll give them a bit time for now, and I'll visit after maybe 2 to 3 months when Ram Lalla crosses.
All right. Gaurang Damani, author, The Untold Stories of Ramayana, should be joining us momentarily, and he would be speaking to us on his experiences and there. Gaurang has just joined us. Needless to say, when we talk about literature, when we talk about language, Arushi, there's a lot that still need to be brought to light. There's still a lot that people need to know, the general public, and not just limited. And people like Gaurang Damani, who is an author of The Untold Stories of Ramayana, now joins us. Damani sahab, बहुत हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए, and it's a pleasure. And I was telling my colleague that how important it is, जो कहते हैं कि जहाँ ना जाए रवि वहाँ जाए कवि, कवि से मतलब कवि नहीं है बल्कि लिटरेचर, साहित्य, और जो एक रिसर्च करके what comes out of that churn, people like you, whom we are very thankful of, bring to the table. Share with us your story, I would say, and your experiences. How do you feel with this consecration ceremony, and needless to say how your work has enlightened you in all these years?
Sure. So I'm an engineer by background, but I, like most Hindus, have always been fascinated with our ancient history, ancient legends. So in that context, I started reading the scriptures, and like most people, I started reading Ramayana and Mahabharata, and I found it fascinating. And I like geography, I like traveling. So usme, what I was wondering is, as a tourist, wherever we go, we see that Sri Ram had come here, or Arjun had come here. And then we wonder, is it true? Because people who are against Hindu dharma, they keep saying it is mythology. So I made a humble attempt to prove it is not. And what I ended up doing is, I ended up reading the scriptures, and I tried to trace it or map it to real life locations. So for Ramayana, I've been able to trace over 300 locations which you can visit even today. So it's mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana and other scriptures like Skand Puran and other scriptures which refer to Mahabharata. So that has been the journey so far, and it's been fascinating and very enlightening for me.
Sir, your book says Untold Stories of Ramayana. Can you briefly explain our viewers and us that what do you mean by the untold stories of Ramayana? What is hidden which we are not entitled about?
You have to read the book for that.
Yeah, actually, because it is too voluminous, but I'll try to highlight a few things. The foundation of the book is Valmiki Ramayana, because it's, I think, the gold standard of Sri Ram's journey. But along with it, there are many other scriptures which beautifully describe the epic Ramayana, and these beautifully gel with the core narration in Valmiki Ramayana. Like Skand Puran has many stories, Padma Puran has many stories of Sri Ram and Sita, and Parashar Samhita has many stories. So Vyas Mahabharat also has many stories of Ramayana. For example, Dashrath ji had a daughter, so Sri Ram's sister, her name was Shanta. तो उनकी स्टोरी बहुत अच्छे से व्यास महाभारत में डिस्क्राइब की गई है. फिर देयर इज सम कंफ्यूजन अबाउट हनुमान जी's बर्थ प्लेस. तो हनुमान जी's बर्थ प्लेस इज वेरी ब्यूटिफुली डिस्क्राइब्ड इन पराशर संहिता एंड ब्रह्म पुराण गौतमी महात्म्य. तो मतलब इट मैचेस विद द नरेशन ऑफ किष्किंधा ऑल्सो. तो वो एक स्टोरी है. फिर more or less everyone believes and knows that the Rakshas king Ravan was a devotee of God Shiv. But not many people know that Shiv ji actually cursed him, because वो शिव पुराण में ये बहुत ही अच्छे से इसका विवरण आता है. क्योंकि तो वो एक स्टोरी है कि नंदी जो शिव जी के वाहन है, एंड शिव जी एक्चुअली कर्स्ड रावण फॉर हिज एरोगेंस एंड मिसबिहेवियर. तो एक स्टोरी है. तो ऐसे कई सारी स्टोरियां है. तो आई हैव बीन फॉर्चुनेट इनफ टू रीड ओवर 34 स्क्रिप्चर्स which I have compiled and made it into one book called Untold Stories of Ramayana.
How can we access those books? Is it some centers like Amazon or Flipkart where they are available? Or what is? Yeah, please.
So it's available on these online bookstores and also on local Indian bookstores like Padhega India and Book Ganga. And on Kindle Unlimited, I've kept it free. So if you have Kindle Unlimited membership, then it can be read for free as an ebook. And so that's the humble attempt, because the story of Sri Ram, Sita ji is fascinating. For example, Sita ji के बारे में बहुत लोग सोचते हैं कि she did give Agni Pariksha, but after that also, why was she sent away on Vanvas? After they ruled from Ayodhya for 10,000 years. तो उसकी जो कहानी है वो पद्म पुराण में उसका उल्लेख है कि she had received a shrap from two parrots in her childhood days in Mithila. So that story comes in Padma Puran. So it all beautifully gels.
Right, absolutely. Arushi, मुझे लगता है जो रामायण हमने पढ़ी, दमानी साहब, मैं इंग्लिश लिटरेचर का स्टूडेंट रहा एंड सेकेंड ईयर में हमें महाभारत थी जो एक कौरवों के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लिखकर पेश की गई थी. It's not that everything was hunky dory in the war between Kauravas and Pandavas. Likewise, Ramayana को लेकर भी, and without any disrespect, if I may use the word here, अक्सर ये सवाल उठाया गया है कुछ लोगों ने, मतलब मैं फिर से साहित्यकारों की बात कर रहा हूँ, और कुछ ऐसे फोकलोर्स हैं कि राम बनना आसान तो नहीं है. It's not easy to be Ram. मर्यादा तो वो है. लेकिन जो एक बात आती है अक्सर कि क्या जो एंडिंग है या जो उत्तर रामायण की बात है लंका से आने के बाद, क्या उस समय जो हुआ वो उचित रहा? आप इसको कैसे देखते हैं? उत्तर रामायण में लवकुश का आना, राम का सीता जी को त्यागना, किस तरह से देखा जाता है?
हाँ, तो इसमें आप बिल्कुल संकोच नहीं कीजिए. इनफैक्ट आई वुड एनकरेज यू टू आस्क एनी कंट्रोवर्शियल क्वेश्चंस दैट यू मे हैव इन योर माइंड, because that's the whole intention of doing the research. So coming back to your point of Uttar Ramayana, usme I believe it's a legitimate scripture, and there are a couple of points which need to be noted though. उसमें एक point ये है कि जो छठवीं किताब है वाल्मीकि रामायण की युद्धकांड, उसके अंत में वाल्मीकि जी ने उसका सार दिया है और कहा है कि जो भी रामायण पढ़ेगा उसको पुण्य मिलेगा, उसके दुख कम होंगे, उसको प्रॉस्पेरिटी मिलेगी. And that's like the conclusion of an epic. So that is why many people say that Uttarkand was written later, which I believe it was, and by probably someone else, which is not certain because it cannot be known. And the second reason for doubting is कि जब वाल्मीकि रामायण में सुंदरकांड में उल्लेख है कि हनुमान जी जब लंका गए थे सीता जी को ढूंढने, तो everyone knows he was caught and he allowed himself to be tied up and he appears in the court in front of Ravan. तो रावण बोलता है कि दूत है तो क्या हुआ, उसको मार दो। तब विभीषण जी कहते हैं कि अपने इतिहास में ऐसे कोई प्रेसिडेंस नहीं है कि एनवॉय हैज टू बी किल्ड. So that comes in Valmiki Ramayana Sundarkand. But in Uttarkand, there is a slight, the only discrepancy which I found is Kuber की स्टोरी. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, रावण जब शक्तिशाली हो जाता है ब्रह्मा जी का वरदान प्राप्त करके, तब वो सबसे पहले क्या करता है, अपने स्टेप ब्रदर कुबेर को लंका से भगा देते हैं, मतलब हरा के. एंड देन व्हाट इज लिटिल लेसर नोन इज दैट ही स्टार्टेड मिसबिहेविंग विद ब्राह्मण समाज. मतलब वो यज्ञ को डिस्ट्रॉय करता था, एंड ही वाज इवन ईटिंग ब्राह्मण्स. मतलब ही वाज अ राक्षस, राइट, कैनिबल हु नोज मैजिक. सो ही वाज ईटिंग ब्राह्मण और वो यज्ञ को डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहा था. तो इसका उल्लेख रामायण में भी है और पद्म पुराण में भी है. तो कुबेर गॉट लिटिल अनॉयड एंड ही सेड, अरे यू आर स्पॉइलिंग द नेम ऑफ आवर क्लैन, कुल का नाम खराब कर रहे हो. बिकॉज दे बोथ, द फादर ऑफ कुबेर एंड रावण वाज ऋषि विश्रव. दोनों की माताएं अलग थी. रावण's मदर वाज अ हाइब्रिड ऑफ अ पिशाचिनी एंड राक्षसी. कैकसी नाम सबने सुना है, बट वो ब्रह्मांड पुराण में उल्लेख है कि शी वाज अ हाइब्रिड ऑफ अ राक्षसी एंड अ पिशाचिनी, राक्षस एंड अ पिशाचिनी. सो एनीवे, रावण गेट्स अनॉयड एंड वो हमला करता है. बिकॉज लंका से जाने के बाद कुबेर वाज लिविंग इन नियर कैलाश, शिव जी के पास, और वहां पे मतलब युद्ध होता है एंड कुबेर लूजेस. बट वो युद्ध के पहले का जो स्टोरी है वो कुबेर इज द डिस्क्रिपेंसी आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट, कि कुबेर हैज सेंड एन एनवॉय और अ मैसेंजर टू लंका, कैसा मत कीजिए. और तो मतलब उत्तरकांड में उल्लेख है कि रावण एंड्स अप killing the envoy and has one of his rakshas eat that messenger. So that is the discrepancy I was talking about, the only discrepancy I found,
right,
between Uttarkand and that. And now to come to your question about the controversy के सीता जी को मतलब वनवास क्यों भेजा, मतलब अग्नि परीक्षा हुई, उसके बाद सब सेटल हो जाना चाहिए था, राइट, बिकॉज शी इज ऑलरेडी प्रूव्ड हर पतिव्रता है, पवित्र है. तो जैसे मैंने ब्रीफली बताया था कि वो पद्म पुराण में इसका उल्लेख है. तो पद्म पुराण में ऐसा है कि सीता जी जब छोटी थी, वो मिथिला नगरी में शी वाज ग्रोइंग अप, व्हिच इज आज का बिहार का दरभंगा,
जहाँ से मैं भी बिलोंग करता हूँ.
ओह रियली, ओके,
जी, मिथिला, मधुबनी, जी, दरभंगा.
ओके, हाँ, तो आप मतलब एक पवित्र स्थान से हो.
पूरी भारत ही पवित्र है, मैं तो कहूँगा.
आई एग्री. तो वहाँ पे पद्म पुराण में ऐसा आता है कि वो दो खूबसूरत पक्षियों को देखती है, दो तोते. तो उनको अपने मतलब वो पिंजरे में बंद करवा देती है अपनी सहेलियों को कह के. और फिर वहाँ पे मतलब वो पक्षी मेल और फीमेल होते हैं, और द फीमेल पक्षी जो है वो प्रेग्नेंट है. तो वो बोलती है कि मुझे छोड़ दो, मुझे डिलीवरी करनी है, तो वन में करनी है. तो सीता जी थोड़ी जिद करती है कि नहीं, क्योंकि बहुत खूबसूरत है, दे हैव अ वेरी नाइस वॉइस. तो वो मेल पक्षी भी रिक्वेस्ट करता है. तब वो ना कहती है, तब कहते हैं कि डिलीवरी करके हम वापस पिंजरे में आ जाएंगे. तो फिर भी ना करती है. तो द फीमेल पक्षी डाइज इन ग्रीफ, और वो मरने के पहले श्राप देती है सीता जी को कि आप भी अपने प्रेगनेंसी में सफर करेगी, मतलब आपको भी तकलीफ होगी.
अच्छा.
सो दैट इज द कनेक्शन. एंड जो मेल पक्षी होता है वो अपनी बीबी फीमेल पक्षी को खोने के गम में वो भी श्राप देता है कि आप अपने, जैसे मैं मेरी पत्नी से अलग हुआ, वैसे आप भी अपने पति से अलग हो जाएगी, और मैं उस अलग होने का कारण बनूंगा. सो ही, since he dies with anger on his mind, he is reborn as the Dhobi of Ayodhya.
Oh, and he was the one who told Ram.
Right. So this story comes in Padma Puran, and that answers the question कि why she was sent on vanvas. और मतलब that is सीता जी का side. तो काफी लोग बोलते हैं लेकिन श्री राम was madly in love with सीता जी, which is absolutely true. मतलब उन्होंने तो रावण के छाती में बाण भी नहीं चलाया था फर्स्ट टाइम युद्ध में हराने के बाद, क्योंकि ही थॉट के उसके दिल में अभी भी सीता जी के लिए विचार है. तो इतना प्रेम था. लेकिन उनको भी एस विष्णु, उनको भी श्राप मिला था.
अच्छा.
तो विष्णु जी जब अवतार लेने के पहले विष्णु जी मदद कर रहे थे. शुड आई स्पीक इन हिंदी और इंग्लिश? आई डोंट नो.
I am sure you are comfortable in both, but let the story narration continue. Language will just be a medium, please.
Okay, great. So तो विष्णु जी was assisting the देव एंड असुर लड़ाई में देवों को ऑब्वियसली वो मदद कर रहे थे. तो असुर भाग के शुक्राचार्य जो उनके गुरु है, उनकी माता के आश्रम में जाके चुप जाते हैं. और वहां पे मतलब वो भी तपस्वी योगिनी है, तो हरा नहीं पाते देव. एंड दे रिक्वेस्ट विष्णु जी फॉर हेल्प, एंड विष्णु जी किल्स शुक्राचार्य जी की माता यानी भृगु ऋषि की पत्नी पुलोमा।
जी।
और इसके बाद भृगु ऋषि वहां आता है तो क्रोधित हो जाता है अपनी पत्नी को मृत पाके, और वो श्राप देते हैं विष्णु जी को कि आपको जन्म लेना पड़ेगा पृथ्वी पे और आपको अपनी बीवी से अलग होना पड़ेगा। तो ये श्राप के कारण भी ये श्री राम को ये करना पड़ा। एंड ऑफ कोर्स विद योगिक पावर्स भृगु जी अपनी पत्नी को वापस जीवित कर देते, लेकिन ये श्राप के कारण विष्णु जी को जन्म भी लेना था पृथ्वी पे और अलग भी होना था अपनी पत्नी से।
बिल्कुल। इन द मीन टाइम यहाँ स्टूडियो में एक छोटा सा चेंज हुआ है। आरुषि हैज मेड वे फॉर अंश पांडे। अंश, थैंक यू
पांडे जी।
Yes, sir.
We are speaking to Mr. Damani, a noted author, and sharing with us the unheard, I would say, anecdotal history or an incidents of Ramayana. एक चीज और दमानी साहब मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगा, और अक्सर हमने शेक्सपियरियन लिटरेचर में ये देखा है, मैं जानता हूँ रामायण बहुत ही पुराना एक कृति है, और शेक्सपियर तो अभी मैं बहुत ही रिसेंट कह रहा हूँ उसके हिसाब से, बट फिर भी जो मेन कैरेक्टर्स प्रोटैगनिस्ट्स होते हैं उनके अलावा भी अगर हम रामायण को देखें तो ये जो रचना है वो समाज के विभिन्न वर्गों को भले छोटे ही सही लेकिन रोल्स में दिखाती है। चाहे हम बात करें शबरी की, चाहे हम बात करें निषाद की, जामवंत, जटायु, इन लोगों ने भी भले वो छोटे एक उसमें रहे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, लेकिन आज की डेट में जब हम वापस लौट कर देखते हैं तो उनके रोल पर या उनके बारे में कुछ ऐसा विशेष आपको लगता है जो कि टर्निंग पॉइंट लाता था रामायण में पूरे उस प्रकरण में?
हाँ, तो ये इसमें आपके एक प्रश्न में कई छोटे छोटे प्रश्न है, तो उसमें आज के रेफरेंस में निषाद के राजा जो गुह थे वो मतलब वो केवट की नाव की स्टोरी सबको पता है, लेकिन आज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर देखेंगे तो श्री राम के अच्छे मित्र थे वो, और मतलब ही वाज निषाद यानी आज का मतलब सो कॉल्ड शेड्यूल कास्ट हुआ, बट ही वाज अ वेरी गुड फ्रेंड। और जब रावण का अंत करने के बाद वो पुष्पक विमान में सीता जी, लक्ष्मण जी, हनुमान जी, सुग्रीव जी और बाकी अन्य प्रमुख वानर सेनापतियों के साथ अयोध्या की तरफ जाते हैं, तो वो भरद्वाज ऋषि के आश्रम में रुकते हैं, प्रयागराज, जो गंगा और यमुना जी के संगम का आश्रम था उनका। तो वो हनुमान जी को आगे भेजते हैं और बोलते हैं कि मेरे मित्र निषाद राज गुह को बताइए कि मैं आ रहा हूँ, और मेरे भाई भरत को भी बताइए। मतलब वो ऐसा नहीं था कि उनको काम हो गया तो भूल गए, तो एडवांस में उनको भेजा कि प्लीज आप उनको मैसेज दीजिए, और उनको मतलब अयोध्या में खूब सारे भेंट भी दिए। तो मतलब ऐसा था, तो वो मतलब मित्रता थी, ऐसा कोई वर्ण या डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं था। और शबरी की कहानी तो अद्भुत है कि वो आज की सो कॉल्ड शेड्यूल ट्राइब हुई, क्योंकि उनके ऋषि जो थे वो मतंग ऋषि थे, जो आज का मातंग समाज अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसको एक अंग्रेजों ने लेबल दे दिया है शेड्यूल ट्राइब। बट मतलब कोई इमेजिन कर सकता है कि इतना बड़ा राजा, इतने बड़े राजा श्री राम उसके जूठे बेर खा रहे हैं, मतलब शेड्यूल ट्राइब औरत के जूठे बेर खा रहे हैं। मतलब आज का सो कॉल्ड डिफेंडर्स ऑफ पिछड़ा वर्ग वो भी नहीं खाएगा। मतलब देयर वाज नो वर्ण, वो भक्ति जो थी वो अक्रॉस वर्ण थी, अक्रॉस मतलब वर्ण व्यवस्था कहते हैं हम उसका भगवत गीता
ट्रेडिशन को। बिल्कुल,
तो भगवत गीता में उसका बहुत ही अच्छा उल्लेख है, चैप्टर 4 श्लोक 13 और चैप्टर 18 श्लोक 40 से 42 के जो कृष्ण भगवान कहते हैं कि वर्ण की व्यवस्था इज बाय स्वभाव, बाय कर्म एंड बाय योर गुण। मतलब आपके जो गुण होते हैं उससे ऊपर से आपका जो वर्ण है वो निश्चित होता है। सो मतलब अभी फॉर एग्जांपल मैं अगर कितना भी देशभक्त हूँ लेकिन मैं क्षत्रिय नहीं हो सकता हूँ, मतलब मेरे वो फिजिक ही नहीं है।
व्यवस्था नहीं है जी।
हाँ, तो मेरा स्वभाव नहीं है वो, तो वो वर्ण व्यवस्था थी। सो इट इज अ वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट मैसेज के निषाद राज और शबरी का जो वो संकेत देता है। एंड कमिंग टू जामवंत, मतलब बहुत ही फैसिनेटिंग है उनकी भी कहानी, क्योंकि वो महाभारत में उनका एक छोटा सा युद्ध भी होता है कृष्ण भगवान के साथ।
अच्छा, हाँ।
तो भागवत पुराण में वो कहानी है। तो ओके, तो मैं पहले वो बता देता हूँ, फिर थोड़ा पीछे चलेंगे। तो उसमें क्या है कि एक श्यामंतक मणि जो होता है सूर्यदेव ने जो एक दिया होता है यादव कुल के नोबल मैन को, सो दैट गेट्स लॉस्ट एंड देन कृष्ण भगवान इज सर्चिंग फॉर इट एंड यू नो, तो वो जामवंत जी के पास मिलता है और जामवंत जी उनका युद्ध होता है। मतलब ही वांट्स टू रिट्रीव द ज्वेल एंड ही इज जामवंत जी इज नॉट विलिंग टू गिव इट अवे बिकॉज ही फाउंड इट इन द जंगल। तो वो बहुत युद्ध कई दिनों तक चलता है, शायद 7 या 8 दिन मिनिमम, या 14 दिन। और बाद में जामवंत जी रियलाइजेस के ही इज फाइटिंग विद गॉड हिमसेल्फ, एंड दिस केव इज देयर नियर पोरबंदर द्वारका के पास एक जामवंत गुफा भी है। तो ये उनका एक हुआ। एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स जामवंत जी गिव्स द हैंड ऑफ हिज डॉटर जामवंती टू मैरी कृष्ण भगवान। बट जामवंत जी का जो थोड़ा बैक में जाएंगे स्टोरी में, तो मैंने स्टार्टिंग में उल्लेख किया था शिव पुराण का। तो मतलब सब लोग जानते हैं कि राक्षस रावण बहुत ही बड़ा भक्त था शिव जी का, और था भी, लेकिन मतलब वो तामसिक भक्ति की थी उसने। तो शिव जी मतलब आए थे, क्योंकि एक एक अपना सर काट रहा था, तो 9 सर काटने के बाद 10, ये शिव पुराण में है ये कहानी। तो 10वें सर काटने के टाइम शिव जी आते हैं, भोलेनाथ आते हैं और वरदान देते हैं। तो रावण मांगता है अपार शक्ति का वरदान। तो क्योंकि वो वाली से हार गया होता है, जो वानर किष्किंधा के राजा थे, और एक चंद्रवंशी राजा कार्तवीर्य अर्जुन से भी हार चुका होता है, महिष्मती, जो आज का मध्य प्रदेश में माहेश्वर है। तो वो अपार शक्ति, क्योंकि उसका वरदान सिर्फ अगेंस्ट देव, असुर, दैत्य, दानव, नाग, गंधर्व उसके खिलाफ था ना, मनुष्य के खिलाफ रावण ने नहीं मांगा था।
अच्छा।
तो एनीवे, तो वो शिव जी वरदान दे देते हैं अपार शक्ति का, और रावण खुश होकर लंका चले जाता है। तो देवलोक में और भी खलबली मच जाती है, अरे यू नो दिस राक्षस हैज बिकम मोर पावरफुल नाउ। तो वो नारद मुनि को पूछते हैं कि आप कुछ सुझाव दीजिए। तो नारद मुनि बोलते ठीक है मैं कुछ करता हूँ, और नारद मुनि आकाश मार्ग से लंका पहुंचते हैं।
अच्छा। और
रावण को बोलते अरे भोलेनाथ है, वरदान तो दे दिया, लेकिन तुझे कैसे पता ये सच में है कि नहीं है। तो रावण पूछता है तो क्या करूं। तो बोलता है कि कैलाश पर्वत को उठा लो, अगर वो उठ जाता है तो फिर अपार शक्ति मिली है।
राइट।
सो रावण डजंट थिंक मच, एंड मतलब शिव पुराण में उसका उल्लेख है, वो पुष्पक विमान में जाता है, कैलाश पर्वत के पास पहुंचता है तो वो रुक जाता है विमान, आगे नहीं जाता है। एंड तो वहां पे नंदी वाहन जो है शिव जी के, वो आते हैं और बोलते हैं आगे नहीं जा सकते हो, क्योंकि शिव जी और पार्वती जी का घर है। तो वो एरोगेंट है ना, राक्षस है रावण। तो बोलते हैं अरे तू क्यों बंदर के जैसे बीच में खड़ा है, साइड में हो जाओ। और शिव जी कौन है, मतलब जो आपको वरदान दे रहा है उनको ही बोल रहा है कि शिव जी कौन है। सो नंदी जी गेट्स वेरी एंग्री और बोलते हैं कि तेरे कुल का नाश वानरों के हाथ होगा, और उन वानरों को शक्ति मैं दूंगा। क्योंकि वो नंदी को वानर कहा ना उसने, क्योंकि वानर के जैसे बीच में खड़ा है। तो दैट इज द कनेक्शन ऑफ व्हाई श्री राम टुक द हेल्प ऑफ वानर सेना। So that comes in शिव पुराण। So anyway, तो रावण एरोगेंट है, he doesn't listen, he goes ahead and lifts कैलाश। तो वो उठा नहीं, मतलब थोड़ा उठाता है तो पार्वती जी घबरा जाती है और शिव जी से लिपट जाती है। तो तब शिव जी तय कर लेते हैं कि अभी इस दुष्ट का अंत तय है, और अपने छोटे से पैर के अंगूठे से पर्वत दबा देते हैं, और वो अंदर हजारों साल तक दबा रहता है। तो रावण का जो ओरिजिनल नाम था वो दशग्रीव, बिकॉज ही हैड 10 नेक्स, राइट। तो इतने जोर से चिल्लाता है कि उसका ही गेन्स दी नेम रावण, बिकॉज दैट्स लाइक अ श्रिल क्राई। इसके लिए उसका नाम रावण गिरता है। तो बहुत पूजा पाठ करता है, तब मतलब विनंती करता है, तब शिव जी छोड़ देते हैं। बट नाउ दिस इज द कनेक्शन व्हाई वानर सेना हेल्प्स श्री राम। और वानर सेना में भी अद्भुत बात यह है कि कौन कौन जन्म लेता है। तो वो अन्य ग्रंथ में, मतलब इट इज अ नेवर एंडिंग लिंक, इट इज सो ब्यूटीफुल, एवरीथिंग जस्ट मैचेस। तो जैसे मैंने स्टार्टिंग में बताया था पराशर संहिता, तो शिव जी और पार्वती जी आकाश मार्ग से जा रहे हैं, और वो वेंकटाद्री पर्वत के ऊपर से जा रहा है, विच इज टुडेज तिरुपति ऑफ आंध्र प्रदेश।
राइट।
तो नीचे देखते हैं दोनों के दो वानर खेल रहे हैं। तो शिव जी पार्वती जी के मन का विचार जान लेते हैं, और दोनों वानर स्वरूप लेके वो दोनों भी खेलने लगते हैं, और संभोग होता है। लेकिन शिव जी का वीर्य इतना तेजस्वी है कि पार्वती जी संभाल नहीं पाती है। तो वो जो दोनों का फल है वो अग्नि को दे देते हैं, और अग्नि भी नहीं संभाल पाता है, मतलब बीइंग द डेमी गॉड ऑफ फायर ही आल्सो कैन नॉट हैंडल इट। तो अग्नि दे देते हैं वो फल शिव जी और पार्वती जी का वायु को। तो वायु इज द विंड डेमी गॉड, राइट। तो पराशर संहिता में नाउ वी नो दैट द कॉन्सेप्शन हैपेंड इन आंध्र प्रदेश तिरुपति। सो वायुदेव उड़ के जाते हैं, एंड सभी लगभग ग्रंथों में उल्लेख है कि अंजनी देवी वाज इन किष्किंधा। तो वो आज का हम्पी जो कर्नाटका में है, तो वहां पे वो तपस्या कर रही है एक पर्वत पे, एंड दैट हिल इज ब्यूटीफुल, यू शुड गो देयर इफ यू गेट अ चांस। वेरी सीनिक, वेरी नाइस स्मॉल टेंपल ऑफ अंजनी माता। तो वहां पे वो तपस्या कर रही है, तो वायुदेव गिव्स हर द फ्रूट, और वो फल खा लेती है और गर्भवती हो जाती है। तो लेकिन उनको टेंशन होता है कि क्योंकि वो केसरी वानर की पत्नी है, तो खरी मतलब गर्भवती कैसे हो गई। तो तब आकाशवाणी होती है कि आप दिव्य आत्मा को जन्म देने वाली हो, तो आप घबराइए नहीं। So that is how Anjani Devi becomes the मदर ऑफ हनुमान जी,
अंजनी,
हाँ, और अंजनी देवी की भी कहानी थोड़ा मतलब लिंक और एक ऐड कर लेता हूँ विद योर परमिशन कि रावण हैड मतलब फोर्स्ड हिमसेल्फ और रेप्ड अप्सरा कॉल्ड पुंजिका स्थला, तो ये वाल्मीकि रामायण में इसका उल्लेख है। एंड पुंजिका स्थला विद द आशीर्वाद ऑफ बृहस्पति ऋषि इज रीबॉर्न एज अंजनी देवी। तो उनको आशीर्वाद था बृहस्पति ऋषि का, जो देवों के ऋषि है, कि आप दिव्य आत्मा को जन्म देगी और बाद में आप देवलोक वापस आएगी। सो दैट इज द कनेक्शन। और वानर, हाँ बोलिए।
बिल्कुल, मैं नहीं, I was just marveling, दमानी साहब, that there are so many aspects to it and interlink. मुझे तो मैथमेटिक्स जैसे ये लग रहा था एक तरीके से। कहीं ना कहीं there is a logic, there is a connection also, and thanks to you that we now know about it. So needless to say, Gaurang Damani, author, The Untold Stories of Ramayana, can be accessed at the rate Gaurang_Damani, and his book is available on e-book platforms. Damani sahab, thank you so much for बातचीत करने के लिए. I think we'll need more time to delve deep, but जैसा कहते हैं ना कि विज्ञान, ज्ञान और सबके पीछे जो हमारे जो उत्पत्ति है, उसके पीछे जो कहानी, वो तो आप बता रहे थे। इसरो के फॉर्मर ग्रुप डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर सुरेश नायक जी हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। विज्ञान में किस तरह से भरोसा है और विज्ञान को किस तरह से भरोसा है इन पर, हमने अक्सर देखा है whenever a satellite launch is happening, the whole team of ISRO pays a visit to the temples also, and that is something that speaks volumes about the the diversity that we live in. Thank you so much, Damani ji.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye. Namaste.
Namaskar. Namaskar, sir. Dr. Suresh Nayak, former group director, ISRO, is now with us. What a momentous day. Thank you so much, Nayak Saab, हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए, for taking time out. He's my colleague Ansh Pandey. My name is Pankaj Mishra. And congratulations to you, to your team that you have led for taking India to newer heights and bringing laurels to the country. How important do you see today's Ram Mandir ceremony for the scientific community, sir, in the country? You'll have to unmute yourself, sir. Right. No. We'll have to try it again. That mic has to go off. There would be a small microphone button. No, it's still not working though. But Imran, my colleague, could help Dr. Nayak, please, for the audio check there. Dr. Nayak should be there with us very soon. And Ansh, as I was mentioning, and sorry, I mean, I kept you waiting for a long time because we were so engrossed. I remember the pictures right from this Chandrayaan launch, also from the first one, and the other launches also. Our team, the scientific community, always paying visit to the temple a day before or some hours before the launch is happening. How do you see it, the connection between science and tech, and then the history, the many people call it mythology, but still?
See, Mr. Pankaj, first of all, thank you for calling into the studio. And definitely, अगर हम देखें तो first of all, there are many things in Hinduism जो कि science से connect करती है. Like I don't remember, like long before जब हम लोगों ने पता भी क्या था कि what's the exact difference, what's the exact distance between Earth and Sun.
Right.
Yeah, what's the exact distance between Earth and Sun? It is already mentioned somewhere. I'm not remembering exactly कहाँ पे.
Science book.
And also in science book. But prior to that, I have read it somewhere in some
scripture.
Yes,
okay,
some
okay.
Hindu. I believe it was something related to Hanuman.
Okay.
Something related to Hanuman, and
he ate the sun.
Yeah, he ate the sun, and उसी से, and so not just that, बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं जो कि दोनों को बहुत कनेक्ट करती हैं, बहुत कनेक्ट करती हैं. अगर आप देखेंगे कि हमारे जो पौराणिक टेल्स हैं उनके साथ हमारे साइंस को, एंड आई बिलीव दैट इज व्हाई कि अब हम लोग जो है हम लोग भी उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा एम्फोसिस ज्यादा दे रही है, हमारी इसरो की टीम भी एंड सब कुछ। और अभी जो टेम्पल का सब स्टार्ट हुआ है,
जी जी,
सो
उस पर भी
नजर होती है सबकी कि क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं।
Then बहुत जल्दी, very soon, we will be joined by Dr. Suresh Nayak, a former group director of ISRO. And as we speak, our colleague Kuldeep Dev is getting ready from the place called Ayodhya, where everyone, trust me, Ansh, everyone wants to be
It's
there.
the focal point of the world, not exactly a world right now. It's the focal point of the world right now.
We can say that. आइए कुलदीप से ही जानते हैं। कुलदीप, वेल, आपके पीछे का नजारा साफ ये बताता है कि यही सड़क है जो आगे राम मंदिर तक जाती है।
हाँ, ये मैं खड़ा हूँ इस वक्त राम मंदिर का जो प्रवेश द्वार है, ये रास्ता सामने से ही मेरे पीछे ये आप देख सकते हैं, ये रास्ता प्रवेश द्वार, यहीं से प्रवेश मिलेगा जो भी भक्तगण आएंगे। और इस वक्त जो आ रहे हैं, वो आने वाले वो व्यक्ति हैं जो लोग प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के साथ अंदर थे, वो लोग बाहर निकल करके आ रहे हैं धीरे धीरे करके। जो 8,000 के से ज़्यादा जो संख्या थी मेहमानों की, VIP मेहमानों की, वो वापस निकल करके जा रहे हैं धीरे धीरे। अभी यहाँ से राजा भैया, इसके अलावा फिल्म स्टार और फिल्म लेखक प्रसून जोशी, मैं बात करूँ अगर शंकर महादेवन, इन तमाम लोग यहाँ से गुजर करके गए हैं। और इसके अलावा अभी नीतीश भारद्वाज भी यहाँ से निकल करके गए हैं। सभी जो थे वो लोग निकल करके वापस जा रहे हैं अपने घर की ओर, और उनके हाथों में विशेष प्रकार का भगवान राम का प्रसाद, जो इस मंदिर का प्रसाद है, वो है। इसके अलावा उन्हें गीता और इसके अलावा रामायण की प्रतियां भी दी गई हैं, और वही सब लेकर के अपनी मतलब भेंट स्वरूप अगर कहूँ या प्रसाद के रूप में उसको लेकर के यहाँ से जा रहे हैं। और मेरे सामने जो भीड़ है वो धीरे धीरे कम होती जा रही है, और आज जो आम पब्लिक है उसको दर्शन के लिए इनकार कर दिया गया है। उन्हें मना कर दिया गया है कि आप लोगों का आज दर्शन नहीं होगा और आप घर जाइए। उसके लिए कल से व्यवस्था जो बनेगी श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ की तरफ से, जो ट्रस्ट है वो बनाएगी। उसके बाद जो आम पब्लिक है, जो देश की जनता है, वो यहाँ से दर्शन करके जा पाएगी। फिलहाल जो अंदर जो जुटे हुए जो मेहमान थे वो वापस निकल रहे हैं इसी रास्ते से। तमाम सेलिब्रिटी और क्रिकेटर से लेकर के वेंकटेश प्रसाद जैसे पूर्व क्रिकेटर इसी रास्ते से निकल करके गए हैं, और इसी रास्ते से जब भी आप कभी दर्शन करने आएंगे पंकज जी, तो आप भी इसी रास्ते से ही प्रवेश करेंगे।
देखिए कुलदीप, मैं तो यही कहूंगा कि मैं एक तरीके से गर्व भी करता हूं और थोड़ी सी ईर्ष्या भी होती है कि जर्नलिज्म के पड़ाव में वहां रहना अपने में, मुझे लगता है करियर में अंश एक बहुत बड़ा स्वर्ण अध्याय के रूप में देखा जाएगा। कुलदीप, इस मामले में डेफिनेटली what you have brought to the viewers of One India is impeccable, immense. He has covered almost all the aspects of both the run-up and during the consecration ceremony. कुलदीप, इसके लिए आपका, फुरकान का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। लेकिन अंश बहुत सारे सवाल आपसे लेने को तैयार है, खास करके
वो क्या है पीछे कुलदीप जी? पीछे कुछ कंस्ट्रक्ट हो रहा है।
कंस्ट्रक्शन जो एक पुरानी बिल्डिंग है, वही है राम मंदिर का इलाका बेसिकली।
हाँ, ये राम मंदिर का ही इलाका है। राम मंदिर तीर्थ क्षेत्र ही है, और ये सामने इधर से प्रवेश होता है, और सामने आगे पुलिस की जो सुरक्षा व्यवस्था, जो सिक्योरिटी व्यवस्था है, वो यहाँ आगे ही है। और उसके बाद यहाँ जो है वहाँ पर चेकिंग होती है। चेकिंग होने के बाद फिर उसके बाद आपको प्रवेश मिलता है। यानी प्रवेश जो मेन रोड है यहाँ से करीब 500 मीटर दूर है, और वहाँ से चल करके आने के बाद यहाँ सिक्योरिटी चेकिंग होगी। लेकिन उसके अलावा जो बाकी क्षेत्र है वहाँ पर सामान रखने के लिए लॉकर है, और इसके अलावा तमाम रुकने की व्यवस्था भी इसी क्षेत्र में की गई है। मतलब ये आज कुछ घंटों के पहले तक, जब तक प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी यहाँ पर प्राण प्रतिष्ठा के लिए नहीं पहुंचे थे, तब तक ये पूरा इलाका रेड जोन में ही था। और अब ये धीरे धीरे फ्री हो रहा है, और सिक्योरिटी अभी भी हालांकि कड़ी है, लेकिन अभी भी जो लोग निकल करके जा रहे हैं वापस अपनी गाड़ियों तक, उनका निकलने का प्रवेश यहीं से हो रहा है, और यहीं से लोग निकल रहे हैं। अब यहाँ तक अभी तक मीडिया का प्रवेश नहीं था, लेकिन जैसे ही शाम हुई और थोड़े प्रयास के बाद यहाँ एक्सेस मिला है मीडिया को भी, क्योंकि VIPs का जो मूवमेंट है अभी भी यहाँ से लगातार जारी है। हालांकि अब घर वापसी की ओर है, और कुछ देर बाद तमाम लोग ऐसे भी हैं VIP जो सरयू घाट में, और इसके अलावा जो राम की पैड़ी है वहाँ पर जो लाइट एंड साउंड का शो होने वाला है, उसको भी देखने के लिए पहुँचने वाली है।
तो कुलदीप जी, आई होप आप वहां पे भी जाएंगे, एंड आई होप यू आर एंजॉयिंग द टाइम। यू आर वेरी लकी, आप इस समय अयोध्या में है, जब इतना मतलब इतना मोमेंटस ओकेजन पूरे इंडिया के लिए इस समय चल रहा है। एंड 3-4 दिन से आप हमें साथ में कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं कि आप भेज रहे हैं, एंड वी आर फाइलिंग द पैकेजेस कि ओके अब यहाँ पे ये। तो कुलदीप जी, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि फ्रॉम द हनुमानगढ़ी टिल राम, जो कि पूरा डिस्टेंस है, एंड जो भी वहाँ पे अभी आपके माहौल है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा और इंसाइट हमें दीजिए कि अभी आप कितने खुश हैं, क्या ये कब होगा, और भी हम
माहौल की बात करें तो माहौल तो पूरी तरह से राममय है। माहौल आप देख सकते हैं, जो भी यहाँ से अंदर से निकल करके जो वीआईपीज आ रहे हैं, उनके वो भी हाथ उठा करके सीधे जय श्री राम के नारे ही लगाते हैं। जो बाहर से लोग जो सेलिब्रिटी हैं, जो जिनको लोग पहचानते हैं, उनकी तरफ जैसे अभिवादन में हाथ हिलाते हैं, वो खुद अंदर से यही बोलते हैं जय श्री राम। और अभी कुछ देर पहले जिन्होंने कृष्ण का किरदार निभाया था, नीतीश भारद्वाज, उन्होंने भी कहा कि आज मुझे लगा कि हाँ, मेरा जीवन सार्थक हो गया, क्योंकि पहले दिन ही प्रभु श्री राम के दर्शन मिले। और उन्होंने तो ये भी कहा कि आज मैं अभी रुकूंगा और उसके बाद एक बार फिर से दर्शन करूंगा, और एक आम श्रद्धालु के लिए। तो ऐसे ही तमाम लोगों ने वर्णन किया। सुमित्रा महाजन, जो पूर्व लोकसभा स्पीकर थी, उन्होंने भी कहा कि मुझे लगता था कि मैं अब, क्योंकि व्हील चेयर में वो जा रही थी, तो उनसे हमने बात की तो उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे नहीं लगता था कि ये मेरी उम्र के साथ इस पड़ाव में आने के बाद मैं इस मंदिर को देख पाऊंगी। लेकिन जैसे तैसे मैंने जा करके वहाँ मंदिर देखा है, और मंदिर में जो प्रभु श्री राम की जो मूर्ति है, जो मुस्कुराती हुई मूर्ति है, मनमोहनी मूर्ति है, उसको देख करके मेरा जीवन सफल हो गया है। ऐसी अनुभूतियां हैं, तमाम अनुभूतियां हैं यहाँ पर। अंश तमाम जिनसे भी बात करी, राजा भैया से बात की तो राजा भैया ने कहा कि वो मैं अनुभूति ऐसी कर रहा हूँ जो लोग कि मेरा जीवन सार्थक हो गया, और ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मैं यहाँ आया। लेकिन इससे पहले जो अन्य लोग थे, इसके बाद उन्होंने कहा कि कटाक्ष किया कि जो लोग नहीं आए वो लोग अभागे हैं। तो राजनीतिक शब्द भले हो सकते हैं, लेकिन इसके निहितार्थ बहुत कुछ है कि अंदर से भाव ऐसे हैं कि लोग अपने भाव तक व्यक्त नहीं कर पा रहे हैं।
Kuldeep, now that the consecration ceremony is over, the red zone and all the restrictions are out, क्या कल से फिर आम जनता के लिए मंदिर के फाटक खोल दिए जाएंगे? क्या दौरान रहेगा? अभी तक तो मेरे ख्याल से शायद 2 या 3 समय आरती होती थी रामलला की, सुबह, दोपहर और शाम, शायद, जहां तक मुझे लगता है, अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूँ। तो अभी कैसे उसमें कोई शेड्यूल में चेंज आया है?
देखिए, आज के लिए तो मना कर दिया गया। आज के लिए जो पहले कहा गया था कि दर्शन के लिए जो कुछ लोग आ गए हैं, जो प्रेमाइसिस में हैं, उनको दर्शन कराए जाएंगे। लेकिन अभी अंदर से जो खबर आई है वो यही है कि आज आम जनों को दर्शन नहीं कराएंगे। आज जो वीआईपीज के जाने के बाद जो व्यवस्था वहाँ अंदर थी, जब तक उसको सैनिटाइज किया जाएगा, जो वहाँ कुर्सियाँ और तमाम जो साजो सामान लगाए गए थे, उनको उनकी निकासी की जाएगी, ताकि लोग आराम से जा सकें। और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग, क्योंकि लोग जाएंगे और अंदर जाने के बाद घूमेंगे फिरेंगे और देखेंगे, महसूस करेंगे भगवान श्री राम का जो मंदिर बना है। तो उसके लिए अभी कई जगह, क्योंकि कई जगह बैरिकेड बनाए गए थे, अलग अलग बॉक्सेस में पूरी प्लानिंग की गई थी, और सभी वीआईपीज को भी अलग अलग हिस्सों में रखा गया था, ताकि कहीं ज़्यादा ओवर क्राउडेड ना हो कोई भी बॉक्स। इन सारी चीज़ों को अभी क्लियर करना है। तो इस बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए, क्योंकि भीड़ जब जाएगी तो लाइन के बाद एक लाइन एक तरफ से जाएंगे और एक तरफ से निकलने की व्यवस्था की जाएगी। तो उसके लिए अभी मुझे लगता है कि राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ ट्रस्ट ने उसके लिए भी समय लिया है, और आज रात तक ये सारी चीज़ें मानी जा रही हैं कि आज रात तक ये सारी चीज़ें क्लियर हो जाएंगी, तो कल से दर्शन प्रारंभ हो जाएंगे।
मुझे लगता है कुलदीप, आप दर्शन करके ही
आएंगे।
देखिए, ये भी एक रिपोर्टर के तौर पर भी और ये व्यक्तिगत तौर पर भी एक सौभाग्य होता है, कितने बड़े इवेंट कवर करना, और उसके बाद जिसमें पूरे देश की आस्था हो, 140 करोड़ लोगों की आस्था हो, इसके अलावा पूरे विश्व में चर्चा का विषय हो, और उसमें विशाल मूर्ति का अगर सामने से साक्षात्कार ना हो तो अधूरा रह जाता है, अधूरी रह जाती है। और ये जीवन के लिए भी, और क्योंकि राम के मानने वालों की बात अगर करें तो मैं आस्तिक हूँ, तो ऐसे में मैं दर्शन करके ही आऊँगा, और प्रयास करूँगा कि जब दर्शन हो जाएं तो फिर उसका अनुभव अलग
प्रसाद देकर आप आए। नहीं, बिल्कुल, आप वन इंडिया की तरफ से वहां पर हैं, and our best wishes are with you and Furkan, who is your video journalist. And needless to say, Kuldeep, thank you so much for covering it so nicely for One India, for our viewers. And also, our viewers can watch Kuldeep's report on the One India page itself, where he has spoken to a lot of celebrities, politicians, common people who came all dressed up. मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी वो रिपोर्ट आपकी कुलदीप, जहां पर आपने कृष्ण बने हुए एक सज्जन का आपने इंटरव्यू लिया, फिर एक बड़ा सा ताला जो आपने दिखाया, मैंने उतना बड़ा ताला अलीगढ़ से कभी देखा भी नहीं है. सो थैंक यू सो मच कुलदीप. यहाँ हम आपसे इजाजत लेना चाहेंगे. थैंक यू. यू टेक सम रेस्ट आल्सो. लगते हैं मेन रोड पर, उनका जरूर आप रसास्वादन कीजिए. Thank you. So Kuldeep was there. Have you been to Ayodhya?
No, I have not been to Ayodhya, but I will surely go to Ayodhya once the crowd gets settled down. Like जैसे अभी भी कुलदीप जी ने right just tell you कि बोला गया था कि 23 मतलब 23rd से it will be open for public. Still the public was there. This shows कि कितना enthusiasm है, and definitely बहुत वहाँ पे footfall होने वाला है अभी.
Definitely locals तो रहेंगे ही वहाँ पर, और obviously वो जो इलाका है पूरा का पूरा एक मेन रोड है, जिसके अगर आप फैजाबाद से अयोध्या की तरफ जाते हैं तो बाएं हाथ पर सिंह द्वार बनाए गए हैं, तो उस मेन रोड पर. और वहीं से, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा स्कोप एंट्री के लिए शुरू में नहीं है वहाँ, क्योंकि वहाँ कुछ बिल्डिंग्स हैं, फिर उसके ठीक बाद उन बिल्डिंग्स के पीछे हनुमानगढ़ी मंदिर है, वो एक पूरे किले जैसा है हनुमानगढ़ी मंदिर, तो बहुत स्कोप नहीं था. तो वो रोड के साथ ही आप यू इमीडिएटली टेक अ लेफ्ट एंड यू आर इनसाइड. और जो कॉरिडोर अभी दिखा रहे थे, जो 9 वहां पर कैनपीज बनी हुई हैं, जिसके नीचे की सड़क जो है उसको ऐसा बनाया गया है बिटुमिन रॉक्स के साथ, जिससे गर्मियों में भी वो सतह जो है वो बहुत गर्म नहीं होगी. तो उससे चलने में लोगों को, जो भक्त बिना फुटवेयर के कवर करना चाहते हैं तो उनको दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. तो ये वही कॉरिडोर था, और सीधे जाता है उस कॉम्प्लेक्स में जहां से मंदिर परिसर शुरू होता है. हालांकि जब तक ये अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन था, जब तक हम लोग गए थे, तो वहां उसकी बगल से ही एक रास्ता जाता है जो राम लला की पहली मूर्ति जो वहां पर रखी हुई उनके दर्शन के लिए और आरती होती थी, जो नियम है, जो नित्य नियम है वहां का. आई थिंक वी आर अप्रोचिंग द कंक्लूजन ऑफ दिस broadcast, which has been going on since 7 o'clock in the morning. Thank you so much, viewers, for staying with us, and also telling us and letting us know your opinion in our comment box, where we saw the comments as far as the religious fervor is concerned. Lots of political connotations too attached to it. We definitely would be bringing you all the updates in the run up to the elections now. But before that, we have an all important budget this time around, Anj, and also 26 जनवरी भी आ रहा है, and उसके परेड की कवरेज, और साथ में जो हमारे वीर बहादुर रहे हैं आर्म फोर्सेस के मेंबर्स, उनसे भी हम आपका साक्षात्कार कराएंगे और उनसे भी जानेंगे कि what does independence really mean, and 75 years down the line, I mean Republic Day है वैसे तो बिल्कुल, हाँ, Republic Day पर भी किस तरह का फर्वर रहता है और क्या मायने रखते हैं रिपब्लिक, इस पर हम लोग भी चर्चा करेंगे. अंश, so what's the, I mean here I think the connection with former director of ISRO has not been established as of now, so we would be catching up with Dr. Suresh Naik at the next opportune moment. Until then, thank you so much for watching this broadcast. Thank you. Keep watching One India.
One India for all the latest updates on Ram Mandir, on everything.